something that came up in a lot of this was realizing that Bruno, who considers himself an ally of the LGBTQ, everything like that, a majority of his victims are trans youth, which is kind of like, it just makes it a little worse because it's like, all right, this is already a vulnerable crowd. Like, obviously, you know, a confused teenager is a confused teenager, but a confused teenager going through like gender identity situations like that is going to be way more vulnerable, way more like, it just makes it sadder. Part of the reason why everyone just brushed off the weird accusation stuff back in February was because of people like me talking about it, and because I'm like a pariah or whatever in that sense. Like, and she's like, yeah, a couple people said, oh, stay away from Crud and Theb, don't go into their chat, do not talk in their chat. And she asked why, and they said, you need to believe me, just don't go in there.
Who's very toxic positive, seems to be very in a great relationship with at least the community manager, gets featured officially in different articles, pictures, whatever. Gets turned down for a community position, basically, like a community recognition. But then he gets it anyway, because assumingly, I'm going to assume here, it was a community manager.
Assumingly.
The Sea of Thieves child predator scandal erupted after a prominent community ambassador known as Bruno was accused of grooming and engaging in sexually inappropriate interactions with minors. The controversy expanded beyond Bruno himself when compelling evidence and testimony alleged that Rare's community management team had received prior warnings about his behavior, dismissed those concerns as hearsay or harassment, elevated him into an official community role anyway, and later moderated or removed discussion of the allegations. Critics, including prominent content creators who stepped down from Rare's creator program, argue the scandal is as much about institutional negligence and lack of accountability on part of the game developer. While Rare has since removed Bruno from the program and banned him from the game, it stated it is conducting internal reviews into its community processes. Nothing tangible, however, has been produced, with many even being suppressed in the aftermath within the official Discord server and other forms of communication from even mentioning the scandal. But how did all of this come to be? And for those who are outsiders to games like Sea of Thieves, like me, it's hard to gauge what's going on in the community if you're not in it. So I reached out to a content creator called Crudmaster, who had led the vanguard on exposing the scandal, and someone who had also been unfairly ostracized and repressed by the Sea of Thieves community management team, leadership, and members of its Cliques content creator program for multiple years. Looking at all this from the outside point of view, I was like, what the heck just happened? Because on my timeline, it just kind of blew up out of nowhere. I started seeing like dozens of people mention them, like, what is going on? And the more I looked into it, I finally found your video, because people kept referencing that. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I think what's missing for a lot of people is, one, a lot of people, I'm not sure what the metrics are for Sea of Thieves in the year Lord 2026. Probably not
not great
as much as it used to be. But I think for a lot of people looking in, this seems to be another case of, just another online pedophile. But I feel like there's more to it, because this community manager you mentioned, Jotaro, I mean, I feel like that's a huge red flag that nobody is really talking about. Yes, of course, you know, it's unfortunate to say it, but yes, there are predators online, and it's become more prevalent, I feel like, since 10 years ago or something. But I think the community manager's involvement was kind of key here, that a lot of people seem to be missing.
Definitely. And there's also like, there's a lot of people with the whole, because I mean, obviously you're very disconnected from it with the SOC community and stuff, but there's a lot of people who even still now think that community manager Jotaro is still being like unfairly targeted because of who she is, which has been really disappointing to see, where people are like, you know, you're just attacking her because she's the community manager and because, you know, people don't like her because of whatever reason. It's just like, it's not about that at all. This is beyond like any personal like gripes people might have because of, you know, people who might have been treated like badly if they've been banned or like, you know, like less acknowledged or something. It's just like, no, it's not about that at all. It's the enabling of, you know, Bruno. So
I guess for people who may not know the full story, like, what are core elements to the story? Like, how did I would like to start from the beginning. So like, I think you mentioned in your video, it's been at least a year since this
Yes.
child predator and pedophile was kind of like flagged as a potential problem. And then what happened after that? Like, and then I think some people mentioned other content creators or other figures in the past. I'm not familiar again. Who is it? Happy Feet, and there are a couple other people. So I guess start from the beginning. I guess from your perspective, like how long have you been making content for Sea of Thieves, and like how long have you been involved in it?
Yeah, so I've been playing Sea of Thieves since 2021. It came out in 2018. I didn't buy it when it first came out because, in my opinion, I was like, it kind of looks boring. Like, I was a little hyped, and then they did one of those trailers where they bring out a bunch of streamers to like overreact over things. And when you watch that trailer, it's just them having the most like milquetoast boring interaction, and another boat pulls up and starts shooting at them, which I get, that can be exciting, but I was like, okay, I know what type of game this is. And then it came out, and then I spoke to people who played it, like, yeah, you just kind of collect treasure chests and shoot skeletons. I was like, oh, that sounds boring. 3 years later, the game went on sale and it was COVID. So I was like, oh, yeah, me and a bunch of mates, we'll get on it. And turns out all you still do in the game is shoot skeletons and collect treasure chests. But, you know, it was...
Okay.
It was, you know, trying times. We all wanted something to keep everyone connected. So we played it. And then, which very typical story you'll see with anyone who speaks about Sea of Thieves. They got it with a group of friends, and none of those friends played anymore. Like every day in stream, someone will come and be like, oh, is this game good? I played it with friends, but they don't play anymore. It's like, yep.
I feel like that's such a universal story for a lot of games. Like, you know, your friends tell you, hey, get this game. They play with you for like once, and then that's it.
Legitimately. I updated from Windows 7 to Windows 10 just to play Sea of Thieves with my friends.
Okay.
And I regret that every day. I miss Windows 7. But yeah, so that was when I got into it, and then I was just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of played it on and off a bit on my own, and then I ran into a good friend of mine now. He's called NZ Goblin, and he kind of kept me in the game because he had been playing for like a year, so he knew what he was doing. And that made me a lot better at the game. And then towards the end of like 2022, I ran into Theb, who, don't know if you've heard him mentioned before. Funnily enough, he's considered a controversial content creator of Sea of Thieves. So he's almost 21. When he was 15, back when the game first came out, he got banned for extreme toxicity. Okay. Which there's whole hours long videos on the situation between him and Rare, the people who make Sea of Thieves.
I see.
They tried to copyright strike his YouTube. They tried to copyright strike his Twitch.
Oh wow.
They really hated that. They hated that because he was banned, but then he's 100K on YouTube. Like, because he's banned. He's not anymore. But when he was banned, he was still like making content and was getting good hits. They didn't like that because like, well, you shouldn't be able to play our game, and that's his career. And big crazy thing with
because
that.
he was 15 at the time, or was it? I guess the toxicity part. Yeah, sure. What he was.
Yeah, because like,
sure.
Yeah, because that was like almost 6 years ago at this point.
Sure.
Which they only unbanned him a year ago, so that's crazy.
Okay.
But he got like a permanent instant ban instead of the typical like temporary ban.
Sure.
It's a whole like, thank God it's all over. Like, he is still considered like the internal people within Sea of Thieves and Rare and stuff would never consider him for like a partnership or anything like that. He's still considered like blacklisted.
Sure.
But at least he can play the game without every other stream getting banned and having to make a new account. And yeah, so I met him, and I didn't know anything about streaming or, you know, streamers or anything like that. And yeah, then we just played together a few times, and he just was like, oh, this is kind of funny, this stupid bits you do. Because that's what I mostly do, is like, just a bit of like, not like trolling like to an abusive degree, but more of like, we just like to mess with people, because once you understand the fundamentals of the game, it's very easy to like, I'm not saying like become good at it, but it's very easy to just know, okay, if I know everything that other person can do, so I'm gonna like be silly around it. And so now that's like the main content we make, is just like kind of gaslighting people in the game, just in silly ways. And so after me being in a few of his videos in 2023, like, he would stream and I'd just play with him on stream. People like, I think it was a sub goal for him to get me to stream the game. It was like, yeah, oh, if I get how many subs, we'll do Crud stream. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do that. It's, you know, not an issue. I can stream. And then that just kind of kicked off from there. And then people stuck around, and so I kept streaming. And then after a year, I just quit my job, and I've been streaming ever since. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's what got me into it. And then throughout my career of playing Sea of Thieves, because obviously there's only so much you can do before it kind of stops being entertaining, especially on stream.
Sure.
Thankfully, my stream is a lot of people like just chatting to me the whole time, which is good because it's like, all right, well, if I was sitting there in silence just playing and like looking at chat and be like, cool, that'd be boring. Like,
Sure.
Don't understand how people do that. And then I started doing like completionism, which the game is, if you want to do like 100% that game, it's like an insane task because there's certain, instead of achievements, it's like commendations, and it's just like certain ones are like, oh, do the same thing like 1,000 times. And it's like, okay, I'll do that. And so then I started doing that, and then I still obviously play with Theb when he's on, but he's more of a YouTuber than a streamer for the most part. So it's like if he streams, we'll make content, and then otherwise it's like, well, I'm going to stream every day because now it's my job. And so I started doing completion stuff. And throughout that, seeing a lot of cracks in the game. There's definitely a lot of issues with the way it's made. It's on a very old Unreal Engine. It still supports Xbox One, which turns 13 or just turned 13 like a month ago.
Yeah.
And one of the lead developers has acknowledged that that does hold back the expansion of the size of the game.
Sure.
But at the same time, he says he doesn't want to drop support for that. So in seeing cracks and stuff like that, I started doing a bit of what you might have seen on my channel, SOT rants, where just critically picking apart issues with the game, as well as giving feedback on what I think would make it better. And I always say, like, that's part of why I do completion stuff, is so I can say kind of with authority, like, okay,
sure,
I've seen everything this game can offer in its most expanded capacity. Here's what I would do. Obviously, I do apply a bit of a dramatic flair to it, which some people can't pick up the nuance and think, oh, he just hates it.
Sure.
And the evolution of that was community reaction. So because I play with Theb, who's considered a controversial figure, there's a lot of people within the SOT community that it's a very, and you probably saw me reference in the video, it's got a very cliquey style community for certain people. And so people like Theb, me, and a bunch of others by extension, they consider like the bad side of the community. Which is funny because, the irony of it all, it's like, well, actually, we didn't hurt anyone, and here's people, actively causing harm. And so because of that, there's these groups that just, will ignore anything we say, or, they block us on Twitter without ever interacting with this. They think everything we say is just a load of crap. And so, in doing so, with the evolution of that, noticing things like, so you would have seen mention of people called blue hats, as we call them. Basically, within the community, because obviously maybe not obviously, the only progression in Sea of Thieves is cosmetics. You can't. I've played, 5,700 hours. If you played 100 hours, we're on the same ground as far as things are considered. Like, I don't have a better ship with bigger cannons. Obviously, I've got the mechanical skill and understanding of the game, but for the most part, it's always going to be an even playing field outside of just general knowledge. Basically, if you are recognized within the community, you get a cosmetic. It's called the Hat of Unfeasibly Glorious Fame, which is...
so that's the blue hat. Okay, yeah, I've seen that mentioned by a few other content creators.
That's the blue hat, and for a lot of people, it's considered like an achievement because during the community weekends, which are usually once a season, other community members can nominate people, and it doesn't just go to like whoever's the biggest streamer or whoever's the biggest Sea of Thieves partner. Sometimes it goes to the little people in that sense.
The players,
they just play the game.
Yeah,
like you always see, like there's a bunch of people that I've nominated before who have gotten it, who are just like, they just jump on and they just want to be helpful to people, help them with their commendations. Because that's with doing completion in the game, something that's been great is I've met a lot of people who are into the same thing, and it really is a collaborative effort because a lot of it is just like, it's way easier to get this done if other people are also trying to do it and you join up with them. So there's like a whole completionist Discord, people who hunt down the rarest versions of like the Megalodon in the game, stuff like that, hoarding the newest chest that's like hard to get that you need to sell like 200 of. And so a lot of those people, they get gifted the blue hat and it's like, that's cool.
I got two quick follow-up questions real quick.
Oh, yeah.
First is like, your critique, dramatic as it may be sometimes for viewers, does it come from like a place of love for the community and the game? I'm assuming.
Oh,
because like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, from my encounters with other content creators who are very critical of their games or their, areas, it tends to come from a place of caring rather than like not caring. Because otherwise, why would you stick around and give feedback, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And that kind of comes up. Like a lot of my SOT rants on the YouTube, the comments will be very similar where people say, oh, it looks like you don't play it, so you don't like it, so why do you play it? Or it's like, oh, it looks like you hate this. It's like, no. The thing about this game is it only works if there's more players. And to get more players, they need to fix the issues that are making the game harder for newer players to enter the game and harder for long-term players to stick around in the game. And when I say things like, we are 8 years into a live service game existing, and we currently don't have the ability to save outfits, that's not me hating the game because I hate it. That's me saying I care for the game, and we should have basic features that everyone would expect in a game. Because it does have a problem with like a new player experience. If you don't watch content, it's a very hard game to get into.
I see.
It doesn't handhold you, which it's a good thing when games don't fully handhold you. But the problem is there's such a like knowledge gap of like, oh, you'd only know that if someone who already plays the game told you that.
Right.
That's like 50 things now. And it's just like a lot of those are important factors of the game where it's like, but yeah, no, I just want the game to thrive. Like I want it to get better. I want there to be more players. I want it to be more accessible for those players. Because yeah, I want to have, exciting, like people paint me sometimes as like this sweaty PvPer in the game, which is funny because they don't know that it's like, no, majority of my game time is spent not doing PvP. It's spent collecting all of the items to do all the commendations and stuff. The guy I play with, Theb, he, everyone considers him a sweaty PvPer, which is fair. But even so, it's just like, no, I just know how to play the game. I'm not trying to ruin people's day by sinking them. I'm just trying to... I want the social encounters that happen in the game because it's very unique in that game where it's like, yeah, everyone you run into could just be...
I've seen the YouTube shorts.
Completely different level. yeah. Like it gets so silly. We run into such silly little characters, and it's great, and I love that. And I want to be able to do that more. But you can't do that if the game is in a state where it's like next unplayable.
So it's fair to say the retention rate is not that great for newer players.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
And when you're talking about, sorry,
common thing. Oh, sorry. As I said, there's a common thing where players get the game because it is on Game Pass, which I think is a saving grace for the game.
Right.
It's on Game Pass, so people jump on the game on Game Pass because they consider the game free if it's on Game Pass. They log in, they go to the Emporium, which is a premium shop. They spend like $20, $30 on a beautiful ship set, and then they finally set sail. And they're on the biggest boat, even though you should only be on the small boat if you're a single player. They'll get sank once, and then they'll quit the game and they'll never play again. And it's such a common story. So many people come in and chat and be like, "Oh, I haven't touched this game in ages. I played it once, but it was really confusing, but I bought this monkey pet," and it's like, "Yep, happens a lot." Okay. Like it doesn't have great retention. So yeah.
So it doesn't have good retention. And you also at the same time talk about this community reward of the blue hat. So I guess give me a good impression of how big the community or player base is. Like how big would the community be? Because you have cliques, but you also have people who are awarded for being helpful to assumingly newer players. How big would you say the community is?
If I had to genuinely estimate the size of the active community, because a thing with Sea of Thieves as well, there's a lot of people who don't actually play the game but are still part of the community. Like if there's a lot of people that just make
watch
custom merchandise. They just watch. And that was when SOT was first being advertised. They even said in an interview that this is going to be a game where the people who watch the game are just as important as the people who play the game. So that's always been a focus of them. And that it's really unique as well. It's like I've never heard a game say that, but it does make sense. Like they've always been heavily invested in Twitch. There used to be, I think it was Mixer back in the day. There was they did special drops on that before that shut down. So it's like, I wouldn't say you have to be playing the game actively to be part of the active community. But if you were to combine the people all over the Twitter community, the game, the Discords, it's got to be at least people who are, I guess, tapped into the game, I'd say it's close to like 300 to 400k if I had to loosely estimate. It's very hard to do. There's definitely not, I'm not going to say there's 300k players a week at this rate. It feels like way less, even though I'm in Australia, so I'm in the smallest region, but you know, I get all kinds of people in stream talking about how certain servers feel deader. The servers are also very separate. Like you've got shared PC/console, you've got console only, and then you've got PlayStation only, and then you've got a version of the game where it's the actual mixed with other players, and then you've got the version that's private. So it's, you know,
seems very fragmented.
It's fairly fragmented.
Okay.
And while the game is on Steam, the majority of players play on Game Pass, so there's no real way to view the exact metric of active players, which is irritating. Like, because when people are criticizing the game, a lot of them go, look, Steam is down to 3,000 players currently. And it's like, yeah, but that is the minority of the players.
Sure.
It is still indicative of the obviously downward trend of players. And I always say that, like, look, well, it's not the majority. It is the majority of people that paid for the game if they're playing on Steam, because Game Pass isn't on Steam. So I'd say, yeah, 300 to 400,000 people. Maybe that's too high. I don't know. People would disagree with me, but I'd say, yeah, there's at least like 6 digits of just active.
Okay.
Like whenever they do, there's a hashtag. It's hashtag Be More Pirate, and that's what they do to enter their like little Twitter contest where it's like take a screenshot of a specific theme and you could win a blue hat. Or sometimes there's like sales in games, the blue sales or the blue gloves. The blue hat's the main focus though. And you'll always see like thousands of posts every month on that from just people you've never seen before who are just like, yeah, I just play the game and I want to try to win this. So I'd say it's, yeah.
Out of that 300 to 400,000, how many would you say is like involved in the community, like almost on a week-to-week basis? Much smaller, I'm assuming. I'd say, if anything, max I'd give that would be like 25k. 25k.
Like yeah. If like I'm just trying to think of how much like tweets and stuff I see, and then the activity in the Discord. I'd say like 25k.
Okay, like that's still sizable though.
It's sizable. It's fairly low given the tenure of the game and the amount of people that have played it, but
still bigger than some MMOs out there.
So, yeah. So,
but yeah, back to the whole blue hat thing. You're explaining the context of that.
Yeah, so they do like community weekends once a month where in-game there's like boosted, it's essentially like double XP weekend if you think of other games. But there's also in-game events like, you know, it might be like, oh, go fishing and fish will give you triple XP. And during that, they do a thing where, yeah, you can nominate people for the blue hat and you just say, hey, like, and you'll see it go to people that have got like one post ever on Twitter. They like, it's like, oh, hey, this person really helped me out when I was trying to get the Pirate Legend achievement, which is like, you know, what a lot of people consider the biggest thing to do when they first start the game. And they're like, oh yeah, blue hat for you. And so a lot of people consider it a mark of pride because a lot of the time, you know, you've done something that you've been recognized for, which I understand the pride of. There's the unfortunate side of that though, where we always say it infects people. If you get it, like I have a lot of friends who have blue hats and they sometimes will wear them in games, sometimes they won't, it's whatever. But it's when it becomes someone's entire online personality.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Yeah, so obviously like as I'm a SOC content creator, my profile picture is my pirate because that's how people are going to recognize me. That's, you know, that's the main thing I'm known for. I play other games and stuff, but Sea of Thieves is what people are looking for when they look for me for the most part. So obviously it's going to be my pirate. Sometimes people make art of other people's pirates. I've got so much art that people have made for me. It's amazing. And sometimes people commission art. And there's this thing that we noticed years ago where people that are very, very proud of their blue hat will commission art of their pirate, and it's always got the blue hat. And anytime it's time to upload a screenshot of something from the game, they make sure they go and put the blue hat on. Because the thing with the Sea of Thieves is it's all cosmetics based, so you constantly change what you look like. Like, I do have like a default character that I go to when I play, but I'm always changing my fit. Like, I have a redeem in my Twitch chat, which is just randomize my outfit. And then we usually work with that to make a stupid character, and then I might do a voice in game. And it just, you just get goofy with it because it keeps it entertaining.
Right. As part of the bad clique or the bad side of Sea of Thieves, did you ever get a blue hat?
No.
But would
I
you say
am,
you've helped people or no?
I would say, and this is not to toot my own horn, I'd say I've helped more people than not anyone else, but then a majority of the people that
but they never give you blue hat
for it.
Do you know if you ever got recommended for a blue hat or not?
I have been nominated legitimately, I'd say 4 digits of times at this point. Like,
and they didn't give you it?
Because no. And it's not, to be fair, it's not a who gets the most votes is guaranteed to get it, don't get me wrong. But it's at the point where it's kind of like, I'm not saying I'm entitled to it, but it would just make, like, people say, oh, you've already got it, right? I'm like, no. And also, I'm blocked by the official Sea of Thieves Twitter account, which is usually where that stuff gets distributed. Yeah, so
just to give some context here from my side, from my point of view as an outsider, excuse my dog barking.
That's all good.
From my point of view as an outsider, you seem to be one of the major content creators that I've seen. Like, I don't really know it most. Like, I recognize a couple names, maybe, from one of my friends did a bit of content creation for Sea of Thieves, but apart from them, like, you seem to be one of the largest, at least. And I'm just surprised that they didn't give you something, or is that because of your association with Deb and the other people? It's
guilt by association is the biggest thing in the entirety of the Sea of Thieves community, and it's a big part of the Cliques.
Interesting.
So the only reason I'm blocked by the Twitter account, which you gotta, I always when I try to explain to people, I'm like, picture it this way: you're a Twitter account representing a video game entity. You're not a personal account,
right?
So when are you blocking someone? It's if they're spamming stuff under your posts, which is hateful. If it's just, like, people just even spamming for the most part, because you're not going to be sitting on that account scrolling. If someone's just like commenting 100 times, like, oh, please add this to the game, that's whatever. If someone's sending hate content, obviously you're blocking them. So 2 years ago at this point, Sea of Thieves actually did get Theb's Twitch channel deleted.
What?
Only for a week, and that was because they tried to frame him for drops farming. So there was Twitch drops on, and this was back when they used to actively ban him when we were playing, and it was a really crazy event. We were literally in game fighting people who were actively using cheats, like they were flying around and stuff. And mid-session on stream, he gets banned from the game, and it was just like, are you kidding? And so in protest, because that was during Twitch drops, he left his stream up with just the banned screen and then just a bunch of random, like, stupid, like, fan art and just random AI garbage that happened.
Sure.
This was before the AI, situation that we have. And so they got him struck on Twitch for drop farming, which is, not playing a video game, sitting in a category when there's drops, which is, to be fair, that's a fair reason. That was whatever. And then after he got unbanned within, I think it was like 72 hours, because it was just like a typical, like, hey, don't do that. They copyright struck his YouTube channel, which is his main thing. Like I said, he's on 100K now. And everyone was like, oh, I don't think it's copyright to just upload content of a game you're banned on. Like, there was and it was it was insane. So what happened was, during that period, it took a month for him to get his account back. Every single social media post, Twitter, Instagram, everything that had salt in it, YouTube video, the comments was just #FreeTheb. Like, it was just hundreds of posts, which we actively told people not to do. We're like, please don't go spam stuff. It's just, like, it doesn't look good for him. Like, I don't think it helps. But obviously they're going to do it anyway. And, it's not that there was a bad thing they were doing it. We just, like, we don't want to have it look like we've said, oh, go do this, because then they'll have to do something.
Sure. But I think it's good that they did it. I mean, that's still pressure, but also the fact that they abused a copyright strike system on YouTube to get rid of a channel of someone that they don't like personally is crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Wow.
It was insane. And that's another thing where if you search up Free Theb or anything like that, or Theb versus Red, there's heaps of it. Like, I have a re-upload on my channel of a video that he uploaded before it got taken down, because obviously his channel was down during that period, and it was nuts. And so during that period, the official Sea of Thieves Twitter account blocked any account that did #FreeTheb. which is one of those things where it's like, I kind of do understand it.
I
But
don't.
me
That's
personally,
crazy.
well, yeah, it's like I don't. But with how much time's passed, it's like, okay, I could maybe justify it. But at the same time, like I said, you're not scrolling on that account being like, oh, I don't want to see this.
Right.
It's not abusive. Now I personally didn't tweet free Theb because I didn't need to as his friend, and also because I was trying to say like, hey, we don't need to spam it. But when they banned a bunch of people, they threw me in there. Oh, sorry, when they blocked a bunch of people, they threw me in there. And I was
just
like,
because
oh,
you're his friend. That's crazy.
Yep. And I went and looked. I was like, have I ever actually interacted with the official Twitter account outside of just a retweet? There was one quote retweet that I did like a year prior, and that was it. And that was just me saying like, oh, hey, you haven't added this item to the game that was in the trailer yet, which they still haven't. And I was like, cool, that's cool. And this was back when you got blocked by someone on Twitter, you couldn't see their post. I was like, great. Yeah. How do I see Sea of Thieves news? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's messed up.
And yeah. And so that was great. So still blocked. And so because I'm blocked by them, which is their main way of handling the Be More Pirate stuff, that's part of why I'll never be eligible for a blue hat, because of, that's a main kind of thing they use to distribute it.
Did you ever reach out to them, or did they ever reach out to you or Deb, or like professionally? Like, this is, to me right now, what you're describing is like a huge violation of what it feels like for a community management team or a community manager. Like
that's what it is. It's bad community management. It's bad community management. No, they've never reached out to me or him. Not only that, I did actually raise the thing about it, and they said, oh, raise a support ticket. And I was like, okay, well, that's for in-game issues. I raised a support ticket, and they said, we don't deal with that. This is support for in-game. And I was like, I know. I'm just doing what I was told to do. There was even a brief period in the official Discord where you couldn't say my username. You couldn't say Crud in there. What? You still can't say Theb, even though he's unbanned.
They have it auto-modded. That's crazy.
Yeah. That it is 1984 in there, unironically.
Okay.
It is crazy. Yeah, you couldn't say Crud in there, which there was two different periods where you couldn't say Crud in the official Discord. First was for a year straight for no reason other than association with Theb, even though while he used to be banned, I've never been banned. I've never been temporarily banned. I've never done anything reportable. I've definitely been reported because people in this game are very petty, but that's whatever. And so randomly my name was banned, and I complained about it a bunch. I was like, you can't say my name in their Discord. I was like, don't go in there and try to say it. I'm
gonna go and try and say it. Actually, I'm gonna go in later and try saying Crud or Theb.
Yeah, which you can say Crud now. You can say Crud.
Oh, okay. But I can't say Theb.
And then randomly, no, you cannot.
How do you spell it? THEB, right?
Yep, THEB.
Okay, I'll try it.
Well, you just get timed out. So yeah, they blocked my username as a term for no reason, and then silently unblocked it as a term. And it's like, because someone came in my Twitch, they're like, yo, I just said your name in the official Discord. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I wish you didn't say that, because then I go look and now everyone say, oh, I can say Crud in here. I was like, and then there was an in-game exploit, which basically let you propel yourself out of a cannon way further than you could usually go, which was very helpful for catching people that are running away from you in the game.
Sure.
Exploits with Sea of Thieves is a very weird area where they've never been a bannable issue, but people think they are. And there's this whole situation where people don't know, oh, is that a cheat? Is that an exploit? It's like, well, it's just you pressing one button in game and it, gives you an unintended advantage.
Does Rare take a more Bungie-like approach to bugs and glitches? Like, oh, if you find it, cool, we'll fix it later, or...
So that's the thing. I always actually bring up, I reference the hole in Destiny 1, I think it was, where people could like shoot into this like cave and endlessly get XP, and how I remember Bungie were like, look, all right, we'll get rid of it, but like, come on, like they were funny about it.
Sure.
No, Rare are never funny about exploits.
I see.
Especially in the official Discord, because the moderators don't know what they're allowed to say. They just say, don't talk about that. That's not allowed. But then the devs will put out a video, which this was like 2 years ago. They're like, look, these bugs are in the game where people can launch out of a cannon on a weird angle, where people can, I can't even remember what the other glitches were. So, when people can switch their guns too quickly without scoping. They're like, look, we will be getting rid of these bugs. They're not bannable, so have fun with them, but they will be on their way out. And that was great for people like me. I was like, see, I told you you don't get banned for it. But yeah, for the most part, they usually just do like a whole, oh, don't talk about it. It's not good. And like, if you try to discuss it and say, so if someone new says, oh, I was playing and someone appeared to have launched up to my boat with a crazy amount of momentum that doesn't make sense, that message will just get deleted because like, don't discuss that. It's like, well, that's the worst way to manage. Yeah, that's the worst way. If you've played a video game, that is the worst way to handle that kind of thing. It's like, no, we need to be able to discuss this so we can be like, oh, that's okay. Like, it's not normal behavior.
So they didn't want people to disseminate certain information. Okay. All right.
Which is it was just weird. And so one of the launches, because there's been a couple of things, and you know, just when we say launches, just anything that flings you further than you should go in the game. Me and another content creator, Nessie, we have this joke where I put the word crud in front of everything as a joke. Like, I call my stream Crud Stream. There's an island in game that doesn't have a name, so we call it Crud Island. It's just a dumb bit that I do.
Sure.
And when like little bits of different like in-game tech were discovered, people were just naming them after themselves. And someone else discovered what was the ability to, when you shoot yourself out of a cannon, you can get way more air control, so you can turn in midair and stuff. And it was crazy. And I said in my friend's stream when people were first discovering it, I go, oh yeah, that's called Crud Launch. Everyone's going to call that Crud Launch. And he's like, it's not called Crud Launch. I was like, no, everyone will call it that. Within a week, everyone was calling it Crud Launch. And I was like, I can't believe this worked. It was a joke. I had no involvement with the discovery of it. I didn't even know how to do it for like 2 weeks. And then they kept patching it, but a new version would come in. I was like, it's Crud Launch 2, it's Crud Launch 3. And it was just really funny because people come to stream like, oh, are you the Crud Launch guy? I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, how'd you discover it? I was like, oh, I didn't. I just put my name in front of it as a personal joke with a friend, and it stuck. And so then in the official Discord, they muted the word crud because of the phrase Crud Launch. Which I kind of understand, but then at the same point, it's like, okay, if we have a name for it now, at least there's a way to like be like, oh, that's a glitch, that's called Crud Launch, that's being patched. But instead it was like, no, don't discuss it, don't talk about it, pretend it doesn't exist, and we'll get rid of it at some point. And that's just kind of, part of that community management. And then they finally removed the ban on my name like 8 months ago, just randomly. And they haven't removed the ban on Theb's name, even though he was unbanned 2 years ago. And the official moderator stance was, whilst we don't ban him anymore, we don't support what he did. And what he did being ban evasion, which was his only choice because he was permanently banned without a warning, and he wanted to play his favorite game because he was 15 at the time. That was 6 years ago. Like, he just wanted to play a game.
What exactly did he do though at 15? Like, do you know?
So. Yeah, I know. So it's a combination of a few things. So, which they can all be chalked up to, he was a 15-year-old playing a video game.
Sure.
Nothing hateful. No, not edgy stuff. But so there used to be a game mode in the game which they've removed controversially called Arena Mode, which instead of sailing around in a big open world and collecting treasure, and if you get in a fight, you might get in a fight. If you make an alliance with people and be friends with them, it's whatever. It was just 6 boats, or maybe it was 5, I can't even remember. In one server, there was a time limit of like 15 minutes. There was a scoreboard, and it was sink other boats, kill other players, collect a specific singular treasure chest, and try to sell it while people try to intercept it. And it was just like, it was just like a battle mode. And back then, it was dying. It ended up, that's why they got rid of it for the most part, because it died. It was also that plus a couple limitations with the game's code that was making it too hard to maintain. And so towards the end, instead of actually playing the game mode to see who wins, people would more just, everyone in the server goes to one island, they just fight each other endlessly, like it was TDM, it was team deathmatch. It was just, people just wanted to kill each other. And so a lot of people back then that weren't happy with that would report anyone who endlessly just killed them for toxicity. So that was one of the things. It was toxicity. The second thing was, because he is like, he used to be, he's washed now. He used to be super cracked at the game. So a lot of people thought he was cheating.
Sure.
So as a joke, in his Xbox bio, it says, "Get my SOT cheats here." And it linked to a Minecraft mod, which was like the worst client, which is like a it's like a cheat mod for Minecraft, but it's for single player.
Okay.
Because everyone would always go to him and message him, like, you're cheating clearly. It's like, no, he's just good at the game. That, and the third thing was there was a Sea of Thieves partner playing Arena on stream, and he was fighting them, and he had their stream open to record it to get a reaction. But obviously that's considered stream sniping, even though he was like, well, I don't need the information. Because in the arena mode,
Sure.
you know where every boat is, you know who's on what boat, whereas in adventure mode, you really don't until you're up to them. So it was those three things combined. And when he got banned, which he was like, what the hell? Because it was usually what happens is you would get, it's called a red beard is a permanent ban, and a yellow beard is a temporary ban. You'd get 3 yellow beards and a red beard. He got an instant red beard. And when you raised a ticket, he was like, what's this about? And they said in the report, it was due to 51 cases of extreme toxicity reports, which is also something pretty funny because they, to this day, say themselves like, no, if someone mass reports for toxicity, we're not going to take that as a ban. Like, that's crazy because it's just any content creator is going to get people who just go, oh, I'm going to see if I can get this guy banned. Like, I'm sure heaps of people have reported me and be like, oh, he was toxic and he was doing exploits. Never had any repercussions because obviously it's like, well, prove it, like, which, I stream it, so prove it. Go get video of it. And so all of those things combined, and they instantly permanently banned him, and he was like, oh, I really enjoy playing this game, and also I have a little YouTube channel. At the time, it was very little. So then he just learned how to ban evade, which was very easy, apparently. It was just basically making a new account. And so he'd play. Yeah, so he'd play until someone goes, oh, this is that Theb account that you banned. And then he'd get banned, make a new account, and he did that for years. And then even when I started playing with him, he was still ban evading, and it was like, yeah, never did anything against the rules the whole time we've ever played. It's just like, no, we just play the game normally, but he's considered a ban evader, and yeah.
It seems like the biggest offense he did was in relation to that Sea of Thieves partner. Honestly.
Yeah. Which is not. Which, I mean, I've dealt with stream sniping, and as a streamer, I do say it's like if you're playing a game online that's multiplayer, you're going to get stream sniped. That's just kind of inevitable. But for the most part, the worst thing about it is like, yeah, the stream sniping he did, he wasn't even doing maliciously. He was just recording their stuff. He's like, I didn't need to see their point of view because there's no real advantage in game you can get from seeing someone else's point of view other than knowing how many supplies they have in their boat, which most battles, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I just need to know if they're going to sink or not. Because the way to win a battle in Sea of Thieves is you have someone from your boat on their boat killing them so they can keep filling up with water. So it's like, well, I can already see what the situation of their boat is. So it is unfortunate that was part of it, but it was just one of those things as well where after 4 years straight of having a ban evade, everyone was like, why don't you just stop banning him? He's not going away. He's making content, which him and me as well, by extension, get comments all the time. It's like, yo, I didn't like this game, and then I watch your content where you're just getting a little silly with it, and that got me into the game, and I've played the game thousands of hours and stuff. Like, we do, like, even though we're the evil guys, it's like, no, people just see it and they just go, oh, that's funny.
Like
you can actually
brand ambassadors still.
That's the thing. It's just like we are bringing players to the game, and they're not like evil players that are like spawn camping people and killing new players. It's like, no, they're just exploring the different types of ways to play the game, and I help people with completion stuff, and we teach people how to do PvP at a little higher level than just like, we say, oh, well, instead of just, repairing, like pulling up your sail when they knock your sail down, how about you keep your boat straight and you just keep cannoning, because then, if their sail's down, why do you need to be moving? And just stuff like that, like just teaching basics that help people. And because of that, he is persona non grata, and then because of the guilt by association, so am I. Even though, like, which it's been a ever since, obviously with how terrible the whole Bruno file stuff is, the positive that has only really affected me personally is I'm getting a lot of people that are like, hey, I've never watched your stuff. I've actually been told to stay away from you in the past, and now I'm watching this and I'm realizing that like you haven't been doing anything wrong. And it's like, yeah, I just play the game. Like I just been playing the game the whole time.
And the community managers never reached out to you, either of you.
No.
Even at this point. No. Which I think is crazy. So they're fine with these, like, I don't know how you would describe them, but the people that don't seem to like you seem to be the very toxic positivity crowd. Like they are they? Oh,
yes. Yeah,
that's so
massively so.
unfortunate.
It's
Okay, that's so unfortunate.
massively so, and that's another problem with people like Jotaro, the community manager. Like, it's it's the same thing you see everywhere. It's the overly like millennial, wholesome, cutesy stuff, which I don't hate that stuff, but when that's someone's entire personality and they have to tell you it's that, when they're like, oh, I am like a positive beacon, I care for, it's like.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the people you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, if you would have seen it in like the Bruno stuff, right? Like even just his bio, he's like peace and love for all. I love everyone. I spread love everywhere I can go. It's like, do you though? Do you spread love? Yeah, it's a lot of that, and it's unfortunate. This is just the whole side of the internet with the whole toxic positivity thing, where it's like, yeah, if someone is telling you how wholesome and nice they are, a lot of the time it's like
they're not. No.
Yeah, like I used to be part of the Animal Crossing community back in 2020 during COVID, and I've seen the worst of it. The nicest, happiest, like it's all the sunshine and sparkles, Hello Kitty stuff, and then behind closed doors, it's like, oh, these people are actually evil. These are dangerous, scary people.
Well, I was going to ask you a couple questions about the partner program, but I think we'll get there soon.
So for sure.
That's your background. That's Steph's background. That's kind of the context of how, I guess, the lack of community management is from the rare end of things.
Yes. Yep.
So, and that was from the year, roughly, like, what, COVID era, 2022, 2025, 4?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like I said, I started in 2021, but I didn't really hit the SOT. Like, no one knew who I was on stream until end of 2022.
Okay.
And then...
Now,
2024 and 2025 was the massive amount of like what things that I've been doing now have been, and like getting noticed and stuff like that.
Now, when does
this
child predator Bruno, when does he come into the picture, and how do you discover it?
Yeah. Fair question. So I don't know when he started playing SOT. I feel like he might be an OG. I think he might have been an OG. So like back from 2018 or even Alpha. But basically, my understanding of like his beginnings and stuff is obviously he was playing the game and he wanted to be a helpful guy, which if you've seen the documents, there's a person who was also a bosun or a boatswain called Able Pirate who helped compile the document, who has had in the past so many times where they've had to correct Bruno on things, and then Bruno's cracked it at him, where he's been like, I know you're trying to help people, but you're doing it wrong. This isn't correct.
Now, to add context for viewers, a boatswain is like a rank or title given to helpful people or just prominent members of community. Okay. So he became a boatswain, long story short.
Yeah, it's specifically supposed to be people that can be very helpful with the game.
So it's like blue hat and boatswain.
Yep. Okay. He's got all the different evil dark marks. Yeah, which in Jotaro's words is the best of the SOC community, which is the worst statement in hindsight I've ever heard.
Sure.
Yeah, so he wanted to be helpful and help people out, and I'm sure he was doing that for however long. And so within my, I don't know, just like career of starting to criticize not only the game, but certain aspects of the community, because when I would do SOT rants, I'd be like, oh, let's see what's happened on Twitter this week in the SOT community. And it would always be some blue hat internal war happening because one wholesome guy versus the other wholesome guy who was the most wholesome. And it just was cringe. And Bruno came up a few times in there, and I was like, yep, he's a typical blue hat. Here's him glazing the game, even though here's an actively bad update or a bad feature or a removal of a good feature. But here's him saying, hey guys, you all just hate the game, stop being negative, when it's just like, the game's not going to grow if you can't criticize it, bro. And I'll never actually forget, speaking of Crud launch, so when this has Bruno involved. When Crud launch returned for the 4th iteration, which was the final iteration, I tweeted about it because I always would have been like, oh, we're back. And he quote tweeted it asking if that was bannable, but he turned off replies. And so I was like, oh, that's weird. So I quote tweeted him back. I was like, hey man, not sure why you turned off replies, but basically this isn't bannable, as they stated in this video 2 months ago that while they would be removing the glitches, they're not going to be bannable. And so then instead of just being normal, he then non-quote tweeted saying like, oh, the reason I turned off replies is so that garbage people like this wouldn't be able to interact with it. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm garbage? Oh, I didn't even know that. I was just being helpful. I was just answering the question. I didn't even say it in a smarmy way. I was like, oh no, so they have thankfully clarified their position. And then he blocked me, and then he deleted all the posts. And I was like, that guy's weird. And then I didn't really have any interaction with him or see much of him other than just him constantly, posting his just typical, oh, I played with Jotaro today. Here's my blue hat, and here's all my blue hat friends. I played with this other prominent blue hat person who's it just, seeing as like, yeah, this is just a clique. And then, February last year hit, and the pig incident happened. And I was like, I know that guy. He's the guy who quote tweeted me and then called me garbage.
So the pig incident is when he took a screenshot of 3 pet pigs in Sea of Thieves. I forget the exact, but it's like dirty, kind of like euphemisms, right? Like my hole, something, blah, blah, blah.
So it was like my hole, my meat, and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, I forget the third one. And that was one of the pet pigs was owned by a player who happened to be a minor.
Yes.
Okay.
So
and
there was Bruno Murphy, and he calls himself VI Pooer. It's an unfortunate name, but he's a kid, so whatever. They each had their pets out, and they had the joke names, because in Sea of Thieves, whenever you hold any item, there's like you can bring up a text radial, and it'll be like, so if you're holding a treasure chest, you can say like, I've got the treasure chest, or let's sell the treasure chest. If you're holding a pet, the options are like, pet name doesn't like you, have a look at pet name, look at pet name. So they'd be holding it up, and then an in-game text say, look at my hole, look at my meat, I've got your meat. Like,
sure.
So, it was just little. If it wasn't with a minor, you'd be like, it's whatever, it's just juvenile shit. Like, we're just making little stupid dumb jokes. I get it.
Sure.
But the problem was, it was
with a
two
minor.
30-plus-year-olds and a 15-year-old. And that was, and another factor which a lot of people didn't consider when this first came out back then, they were like, oh, whatever. It's like, if this is what he's willing to share on his Twitter officially, what jokes are they making behind closed doors? Like,
additionally, I would like to add to your statements here that I think from another Sea of Thieves content creator, they said that like these dirty names wouldn't fly normally, I believe.
That's also correct. So Sea of Thieves has this like crazy internal censorship of a lot of stuff, which even in game, like you couldn't type LMAO, it would be censored.
What?
They've fixed some of the
Okay.
Yeah, so there's this weird, and I believe it actually comes from Microsoft. It's not actually a Sea of Thieves thing specifically, the word filtering, which they've recently changed it, kind of for the better though. Like now you can say LMAO 7 years later.
Okay.
But you can name your ships in game, and you can name your pets. And like with ships, people were like, oh, okay, let's be funny with our ship. Because ship naming was only added about 4 years ago.
Sure.
So everyone's like, oh, hell yeah. Like people are like, oh, I'm going to name my ship Sloop Dog because it's a sloop and it sounds like Snoop Dogg. And it's the most common name you'll see next to Unsinkable 2 or the Black Pearl. And so people obviously were like, oh, let's do some silly innuendo. And so you'd see a ship called Big Deck Energy because, it's a big deck of
big
it.
dick, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so someone, I believe it was posted on like Twitter and then on Reddit, someone named their boat that, and then someone in-game reported that name, and then the name got reset. And when your name of a boat gets reset, you can never name a boat again in-game. So
what?
For making the joke, yeah. So for making the joke of Big Deck Energy, now all of their boats are just called, like if it's a sloop, it's called sloop. If it's a brig, it's called brigantine.
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, and so same rule applies to animals because there's like...
Right.
There's a lot of edgy kids who play the game, so they have a pet monkey, and it'll just be, it'll just be a racist joke, and you're like, okay, haha. So, and then if you report that, they lose that naming privilege, and then it just gets defaulted to whatever the breed of the pet is. So, like, if it's a dog, it'll just be called Alsatian or whatever. And so having those pet names, and especially posting them on your public Twitter where your username and stuff is visible, if anyone had have reported them, which I believe people have said that they did, they should have lost those names and privileges, but they didn't. And it's another thing where it's like, I wonder why they didn't. Is it because all 3 people were blue hats? All 3 people, have close ties to the community management and the teams like that? And it's like, probably. Like, no, obviously, guaranteed proof of it, but it's a million coincidences to a certain point. We're like, all right, well, some people have specific privileges based on that kind of thing, and it's just blatant. So
Okay.
yeah, they should have at least lost that. And yeah, so he posted his little tweet where he was like, haha, look, we made silly pig sex joke names. And then everyone was like, hey man, that's really weird because that's a kid you're playing with, isn't it? And he's like, it's not weird, it's just a joke. Which at the same time, it's like maybe that was the one joke that they ever made. Who knows? We'll never know. Except now we know it definitely wasn't. And he did the typical of, I'm just going to lock my Twitter and then go onto Blue Sky and vent about it and call people pieces of shit and all that. And then his girlfriend dumped him and she posed her DMs with him. Yeah.
Okay. That's the first. Yes. I think I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's Dammit Bell is her username on things.
She defended him, I believe, right? Until the breakup.
Yes. So she literally, and she posts screenshots where it's, even though it's their DMs, it's just her side, so she's not showing anything that he said. You even see in her first DM, she says like, I told you when this happened, like ignore the sot shitters, which is people like me. Like she thinks people like Theb and I are sot shitters because we shit post, and that's a bad thing. She's like, I thought this. And then she's like, but then when I got further context, I realized it was with a 15 or a 16-year-old that you're making these jokes, and that's crazy. And then she says, like, hiding your Twitter and like hiding on Blue Sky is not the way to do it. That just makes you look even more guilty. And then, she breaks up with him. And then he finally made his apology, which I'm sure you've seen the part of the apology that I've shown, where he makes the insane clarification where he says, what does he say? He goes, I always make sure that if I play with someone who's underage, that I have another adult present in the call. And I understand what he was going for with that, but that just makes him sound so insanely like it's like, is that to protect the kid or is that to protect you from the, like, what do you mean by that? Like, it just sounds like, I can't help myself, so I make sure someone's supervising me, which also, like, it's like, well, the other adult present was also making the same joke with the kids, so I don't even, like, it's so strange.
I feel like that's taken from that kind of like mentality where you're never, men have said, I would never be in the same room with another woman without another person being there.
It's kind of like that.
Which I feel like it was still inappropriate with the minor involved.
It's crazy.
Even his girlfriend
that was
broke
his
up
apology.
with him. Oh yeah, that's not much of an apology.
No, and like he did say, he's like, I didn't mean to harm, and it was just a harmless joke, rah rah rah. And so I showed that on my stream back then because I was like, hey guys, do you remember this guy who I showed? Because I always just show the Twitter drama that happens because it's insane, and it gives me something to do when the game has no content at the time. And I'm like, remember this guy? I was like, look at this situation. I showed my stream. They're all like, wow, that's insane, and came up over and over again, and then it petered out over time. And as you would have seen in the video, between then and I guess now, or not now, I guess then and a month ago, he retained his blue hat status. He still played with the minor and his friend. And then he even started playing with Jotaro, the community manager. And whenever it was a community weekend, you'd see screenshots because in game they put up a photo wall only during community weekend. So everyone goes, let's all pose in front of the photo wall with our guns and stuff, and we'll upload it, and it'll be a little celebration of the community. And it's fine. It's like, yeah, that's cool. You get to see heaps of people coming together playing the game. And it was like, wow, he sure is getting a lot of attention from the community managers, even though, 2, 3, 4 months ago, he made this really weird joke and had no ramifications. And then he gets they do the Pride on the Seas because they added the Progress Pride flag to the game because the game's always had like the rainbow flag from launch. But then they added the Progress Pride flag last year, and it was a pretty big deal for a lot of people, especially even internally, because to do that, they had to program it so it didn't appear in certain regions where that's considered like illegal. Like in certain parts of the Middle East, they're like, we need to test this region locking thing. So we're going to set certain people on our insiders testing version of the game to be considered in the Middle East and tell us if it appears or not. So they did a whole thing there. And, a lot of people were happy about it. They're like, cool, we've got the flag, it's representative, all that stuff. Because they've always, Sea of Thieves, it's always been like, huge allies of all kinds of things like that.
Sure.
And so then they did a Pride Month celebration thing last June. And they're like, hey, celebrating this. Because there's even like lots of Sea of Thieves partners who all fall under the different brackets and stuff. And, they've always been good with diversity and representation in that regard.
Sure.
And in that article, when they're talking about celebrating it. They're like, here's some of our best representatives of the LGBTQIA plus in Sea of Thieves. And then boom, there's a screenshot of Bruno and his friend Murphy.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I've seen that picture. And
yeah, you would have, which
yeah.
it's gone now. The article still exists, but that picture is gone.
Oh, they took the picture down.
So yeah, about a week ago, because people in my Discord have been like magnifying glassing everything every day. Like we've got the archive and stuff. Yeah, no, that picture's gone. The article's still up, but boom, got rid of the picture of Bruno, you know, just wiping it away like it never happened. And so that was crazy because like this is a terrible representation actually.
Right.
And then also there's this thing that they do called the community spotlight or legend spotlight, depending on if it's someone who streams or if it's just someone who plays but just, you know, gets noticed a lot. And so Bruno got his own little community legend spotlight thing, which those are all handled by Jotaro. And a lot of the time they're people who already have blue hats, who you often see screenshots playing with rare employees. And like, it's just the little weird nepotism clicky stuff that's happening in there. And it was like, wow, he's getting a lot of accolades from this. And all he seems to do is make weird jokes and attack the community, like people like me, and say, "Oh, you're a garbage person. You're a sot shitter." It's like, bro, what? I post a screenshot of like my guy doing a silly emote. There was a bit I did a year or 2 years ago where I made my pirate look like an emo guy, and there's clips of me where I'm just pretending I'm sad and trying to get other pirates to cheer me up. It's like, what did I do that was hurtful? You know, I'm just being silly. I'm just being a little theater kid about it. And then yeah, he's just getting all this notice to him, and then it comes to a head. You know, what was it, like March, I guess, this year, when the boatswains or the bosuns in the Discord, because all they do in the Discord is they have a different color name. They can't moderate, and they have a different color name. They have the role, so if you, it's recognition, and it's so when someone goes, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this specific tall tale," which that's just like a mission, but it's like a story-based mission. Or they're like, "Oh, I'm having trouble with this commendations. I don't know how to get this type of loot. Where can I find it?" And if you see someone with their color name, go, "Oh, what you want to do is actually go to this island or talk to this NPC." You go, "Oh, I can trust that person." So you know, he was put up for the vote for the boatswain position, and apparently the way it worked, because one of the guys that also was a boatswain, Able Pirate, who helped with a lot of this stuff, he was like, "Yeah, so here's what it looked like." They said, "Hey, here's two people, Bruno and some other guy. Do we want him to be a boatswain?" And there's screenshots that are all in that document where it's just like people like, "No, he is way too quick to fight with people if they try to, you know, say that he's not quite giving the correct information." And also, there's all that previous drama, which is funny because they're acting like the drama wasn't real. They're like, "Oh, you know, a lot of people attacked him last year because of some joke he made," and rah rah. It's like, well, yeah, rightfully so, though. You know, sometimes it's kind of earned. But instead, they're just saying they don't want to see the drama that might happen if people remember that, not that he should be punished for it. And so, you know, the vote was no, he didn't get the role. And you even see there's a thing of Jotaro where she says, like, "It's up to you guys. I won't sway the vote in any way." And then 3 weeks or so passes, and then he has the role. And every person... Yeah, that was the thing. Because I didn't know this. When it first happened, I didn't know this. I was like, oh, yeah, he just got voted in. And I guess Jotaro used her influence to be like, give him it. No, what happened was he was denied it by the, you know, the Council of Boatswains. And then he randomly was given the role. And it's like, oh, this is the most blatant...
Who?
But yeah, we know who.
Well, it's got to be the developers or the owners of the Discord server, no?
Well, the developers of the game don't even show up in the Discord, which honestly, I mean, I don't blame them for that. Like,
yeah,
stay away from the community. You've got a community manager for a reason.
Sure.
Yeah, no. So he just randomly is assigned the role, and they're like, "Welcome, Bruno, to the boatswain thing," and everyone was like, "Okay." And I think that's where a few people, like Able Pirate, are like, this is weird.
That's crazy.
And yeah,
I just kind of want to process that for a second, because you have this guy who's very toxic positive, seems to be very in a great relationship with at least a community manager, gets featured officially in different articles, pictures, whatever. Gets turned down for a community position, basically like a community recognition, but then he gets it anyway, because assumingly, I'm going to assume here, it was a community manager.
Assumingly.
That seems to be the key link here, like we kind of discussed before we got into all this. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just this
It's
nepotism-y, clicky thing where it all leads, it's like a web, and it's always the same few people. If there's a Venn diagram, there's always the same few people in the crossover part. Like
right.
it's like, as like I said before, it's a million coincidences. It's just like, okay, there's clearly got to
Nah,
be
these aren't
some
coincidences.
fault. Yeah, and like, and it all makes sense when you look back to like the Twitter blocking and stuff. It's just like it's poor
Sure.
community management. You've got these people that unfortunately just, as sad as it is, they're not suited for their job, in my opinion, because it's like you just aren't managing a community correctly. You are making emotional decisions. You are making personal, close friendships with the player base, which, in my opinion, if you're a video game community manager, whatever, the acknowledgement of players as individuals should only be like the occasional reference or something. There shouldn't be any personal. Like if there's in an ideal world where they didn't, hate me, I would have the SOT Twitter account. Like if I made a tweet saying like, oh, when are they going to add this? And they'd be like, well, you're the guy who crud launched. And I'd be like, oh, you cheeky buggers. Like it would be stuff like that. And it wouldn't go further than that. But instead we've got this community manager that's actively choosing to play with these people post them being exposed for being a little weird, but somehow just, and I say this, it might be a little bit egotistical, but it's like, I think truly part of the reason why everyone just brushed off the weird accusation stuff back in February was because of people like me talking about it, and because I'm like a pariah or whatever in that sense. Like the fact that I kicked up such a stink about it back then makes them go, well, that's that guy. So
Right.
yeah, nah, Bruno's fine because that guy was upset about him. That's how I feel, though.
I mean, I can totally see that, because at the same time, you have Crud over here, and then you have the community manager, and they're, backing this guy up. I mean, who would you side with if you were just looking in as a partner,
if you don't know,
or as a non-partner content creator? You look at this, very obvious who you would side with initially. You'd be like, oh yeah. I mean, obviously the company knows something, maybe.
Sure. For sure. And that's, and that's like I said, how I say that now I get people who say they were told to stay away from me showing up and be like, oh, like I have a very, very close person to me who says, she's like, yeah, because back in the day, they used to do this thing during Christmas time where they'd run a 24-hour stream on the Sea of Thieves channel, and they'd show off this orb in game that like would reveal upcoming features. And then every hour they would raid a random person streaming Sea of Thieves. And that person for that 1 hour would have a unique Twitch drop, and then it would go back to the SOT channel.
Okay.
And she got the orb raid, as they call it. And, I think she was fairly new to the game at the time as well. So she didn't know what was going on, didn't know how to turn off follower alerts on Twitch. So she had, she went from however many viewers to 15,000, and it's just nonstop notifications.
Sure.
And a little bit after that, when she was like recovering from like, oh my God, that was crazy, a lot of people reached out and they said like, oh, hey, I can help you out with this and rah. And she's like, yeah, a couple people said, oh, stay away from Crud and Theb. Don't go into their chat. Do not talk in their chat. And she asked why, and they said, you need to believe me, just don't go in there. And no, does now, because it's just like, yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I just haven't done anything wrong. Like, I'm just a normal guy who plays the game. In fact,
weird.
I guess I'm not normal in the sense that I play the game because I do the completion stuff, which is crazy. It's like, yeah, I do too much in the game. But like, yeah, no. So there is this never-ending clique situation where, yeah, you're either on the right side or the wrong side. And to get on the wrong side, you just simply have to have a bit of an open mind instead of just, if someone says don't go there, you go, okay, I won't. You've got to, just
all right,
investigate for yourself,
Right. Like, I mean, so Bruno gets Boatswain. And then what happens after that?
So then what happens after that is he gets very cocky, as he does.
Sure.
And people in the Sea of Thieves official Discord bring up Theb. And obviously when you try to say Theb, your message gets deleted. And so when your message gets deleted in a Discord and you don't know why, you're going to say, wait, why did my message get deleted? And then so the discussion, which happens all the time, happened where someone was like, oh, well, you can't say that user's name. And then someone goes, why not? And then someone goes, because they used to be banned. And then one of the official mod goes, while we don't ban them anymore, we still don't want them discussed here, which is just such a dumb way to censor things.
That's so weird.
And yeah, and then I believe the person who was trying to figure out why they couldn't say it said something like, oh, what did he do that's wrong or whatever. And then Bruno steps in and he says he plays with cheaters. which is crazy because
Yeah, I think you mentioned this.
That's just never been like a accusation Theb's received. Like, to be fair, there have been people that back in the day you would have played with that then later started cheating because
Right.
when Arena shut down, there was a lot of people unhappy about that. And there's a lot of ex-Arena players who then just got bored and started cheating because around 2 years ago, cheating in Sea of Thieves was just crazy. Like, there's so many videos of people just trying to play the game and then someone flies up and drops a keg on their ship, which just blows it up. And it was terrible. It was really bad as a streamer because you couldn't play without just... Because they even had a way to find which server you're in and instantly join and, you know, the good news was Theb and I got to make really good content out of that where sometimes, even though they were cheating, they just had no knowledge of the game, so we'd still win, and that was really good. But yeah, no one, you know, there's no one that you would say, oh yeah, that's a cheater that Theb played with who he knew they were actively cheating. It's like, no. Like, I've been invited to crews from people in chat who are like, oh hey, I have this chest if you want to sell it, and then like I see them like fly away. I'm like, okay, cool, fuck you, don't ever do that again. I don't want to play with a cheater.
Sure.
Don't ever, like, just don't invite me to stuff. Like, which also, that being said, this is just an important kind of weird thing about Sea of Thieves. If you play with a cheater, that's not bannable, even if you keep doing it, which has always been a really weird thing.
What?
Because, yeah, when they added a game mode which people call Hourglass, which is basically one ship versus one ship battles, which was kind of like the replacement for Arena. And that's when that happened. When was that? That was 2023. Yeah, the end of 2022, start of 2023. So right when I started streaming alongside Theb was during the Hourglass period. And we kept running into this one guy who, because you can like use your little spyglass, you can see who's the captain of the ship. This one guy was always captain of the ship, but he would always be playing with a cheater. He wasn't cheating, but he always had a cheater, and it got really annoying. We're like, oh, it's him again, great. And then someone would fly to our boat, blow us up, it was over. He never got banned, and like for years it's just been a thing. And it's just like, yeah, if someone plays with a cheater, even knowing, because obviously unknowingly you might join like an open crew and you go, oh wait, I think that guy's cheating. Obviously that's not your fault. But it's just like, no, if you are actively, repetitively playing with a cheater, you are not punished in any way. Not even a temporary one while they go, oh, you might not have known. Which is crazy.
Okay. So if you repeatedly play with a person you know cheats and you reap the benefits from that, you still don't get banned?
Yep, you don't get banned, and yeah, you do reap the benefits. Like if you play a competitive game mode and earn the XP that leads to cosmetics, yeah, you keep that. They lose their account, but they can just make another one because they're just going to cheat anyway.
And this policy is still active as of today?
Yep. There was recent drama. There's another creator you might have heard of, maybe, called Noobface.
Okay.
He is in a similar boat to Theb, no pun intended, where he is also considered like a persona non grata, blacklisted style dude, even though he's realistically not done anything wrong. And he recently, on his Twitter, brought some attention to, I think it was someone who won a tournament or something that was actively playing with the cheater and then has been playing with cheaters since and before then. And there's heaps of footage of it. And it's just like, while all his cheater friends are banned, he's not. And it's just like, why? Why not? Like, it just doesn't make sense. If it's literally fool me once, and then like it's just like, come on. At a certain point, it's like, all right, this person is choosing to play with people who are manipulating the game in ways that require external programs. Like, yeah.
But yeah, Bruno calls you a cheater, basically.
But yeah, so Bruno implies that Theb plays with cheaters, and so then my friend Nessie was a Sea of Thieves partner. He stood down during all of this situation, but because I said to Nessie, I was like, I don't want to go talk in the Sea of Thieves official Discord, because if I do, it's going to be swarmed with people. First of all, just saying, oh, hey, Crud, which is, I love that. But at the same time, I don't want to be... I know that they, internally they dislike me, and I don't want to cause any more stir up for them or anything. So I purposely don't talk in there, because it's like, I don't want to,
Yeah, you don't want to agitate.
I'd rather just... Yeah, I don't want to agitate. And I know that, people get excited when they see certain people in there, and that's fine. But Nessie, who at the time was a SOP partner, it's like, if he speaks in there, there's a little bit of like authority implied with it. So he goes in there and he says to Bruno, he goes, hey man, just wondering who it is that Theb plays with the cheats, because Theb only plays with Crud, me, and Sponge. Sponge is Nessie's duo, who is also a Sea of Thieves partner. He's still a Sea of Thieves partner. So it's like, obviously they're not going to cheat. Because yeah, he just doesn't play with anyone else. It's like, no, he only plays with us. And then it causes awkward back and forth, because Bruno didn't reply. Instead, one of the SOT Discord mods called Shira replied, and it's not even worth ranting about Shira right now, I'll be honest. Very incompetent Discord moderator.
Okay.
And she was defending Bruno, saying, oh, I think what he meant was this. I think what he meant was this. And then Nessie's like, well, he clearly said it like this. I don't think he meant it like that. And then she's like, well, I'm not here to speak on his behalf. And he's like, cool, no one asked you to speak about it. I don't know why I don't even know why you're speaking about it. Like, why did you came in here to defend him and then said, I'm not here to defend him.
Yeah.
And so then there was a tweet about the Bruno accusing Nessie of playing with cheaters that JC did. And then I don't know what led to it, but then a day or two later, JC just has this like all these screenshots of Bruno being weird, and I'm like, that's a bit strange. And then it's just like, not only is he being weird, that's with a minor, and we're like, what?
To clarify, JC is the minor?
No, sorry. JC is just a player of the game, who he posted the original like Bruno files document.
I see. Okay.
So he was like, yeah, so check this out, and then he links an article, a Google Doc that he made, and I believe Able Pirate helped him with it, and it's just a bunch of stuff of Bruno. It's the first document of Bruno just being very inappropriate with minors, with all the weird just DMs and stuff, and parts of it were like, oh, this is pretty bad and creepy. I wonder if it gets worse. And then like, because people were also posting screenshots that were like the sexting stuff, and we're like, it seemed fake at the time because it was like way too. It was first of all, it was too recent, and it was way too like, all right, so people are accusing this guy of being a pedophile, and here's a tweet here's a screenshot of a thing where he's clearly just being sexual with a minor. It's like, I think that might be fake. And then a couple days pass, and then someone called Vic, I think it's Vic J Tanuki, posted a tweet with an article with a Google Doc, which is the rest of the Bruno files, which is the one with the images and stuff like that. And he had worked closely with one of the victims, which is not the guy from the pig screenshots, a different person. And it's just disgusting. It's got he interviews them, and they say all these things like, yeah, Bruno received over like 200 nude images or videos. They are 15. Bruno is, I think he's like my age. He's like 34 or something. And they're also trans. Something that came up in a lot of this was realizing that Bruno, who considers himself an ally of the LGBTQ, everything like that, a majority of his victims are trans youth, which is kind of like, it just makes it a little worse because it's like, all right, this is already a vulnerable crowd. Like, obviously, you know, a confused teenager is a confused teenager, but a confused teenager going through like gender identity situations like that is going to be way more vulnerable, way more like, it just makes it sadder, where it's like, damn. And, you know, especially with him being like, I'm a representative of all of these things, so come under my wing. And then, yeah, there was just the interview where they just revealed how gross he was, and just how he was, you know, saying, oh, let me know when you're at your dad's house next. Let me know when you're at your dad's house next. And then screenshots of just all the all the DMs, and just the sexting, and the giving them instructions on what to do. And just insane.
Basically, I mean, more than proved that he had possession of child sexual abuse material.
Yes.
And just to clarify, did he claim to be an ally, or was he like saying he was trans, or he was gay, or?
So Bruno himself he calls himself an ally. He identifies as a bear, which at least implies that he is gay. His ex-girlfriend is also trans. So I believe Bruno, believe he's pansexual. I believe that's his identification, but he refers to himself as a bear, and he's always got like all different flags and stuff on his things.
And the community manager also featured them for the June Pride Month last year.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's safe to assume he is part of that demographic.
Definitely.
And he targeted,
and I believe,
he targeted trans. That's so crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's been upsetting, because obviously a lot of people's reaction to this has been like, you know, using this to demean trans people, being like, oh, typical. It's like, no, Bruno isn't trans. He's targeting trans people.
Right.
Like, yes, you can say, oh, look, it's another person saying, I'm an ally, I'm wholesome, and then using that to abuse people, but it has nothing to do with his identity. It has to do like he's. Yes, there's been an annoying amount of discourse about that. It's just like you just this doesn't help anyone to have your gender politics. And
I'll bring actually. I was gonna bring that up actually later when we talk about Rayer's reaction. So anyway, this all blows up. You start covering it. I watched the video. Well, everyone watched it. It's
crazy. It's a long video. and there will be a new video soon. I've
Okay.
got an editor they're compiling shorter versions of each of the, like, because obviously I did that rant, and then there was like the fallout, and then there was the fallout of the fallout.
Sure.
They're compiling all that, plus I'm going to do a little mini rant, which is going to be, because it's now, as of today, it's 1 month since that happened, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to do a 1 month recap to let people know that nothing has happened. Spoilers. That, what's happened. So, sorry, go on.
Now, before we get into the fallout and the reactions, were there any similar incidents prior to this with other individuals like Bruno, or like who were predators like Bruno? Because I've seen a few names mentioned, and
yeah. So there's been some things. So post the Bruno thing, there was a person who I'd never heard of personally called Captain Flowers.
Okay.
There was a Google Doc which was very short, and it was an underage person being sexted by them in a creepy way, and unfortunately that didn't really end up going too far, because I think unironically just no one knows who that guy is other than the victim. Like, we brought attention to it and we offered support, and we said, like, here's who to go to, but because they were just such a like off the radar person, unfortunately nothing really came of that. As far as we know, it wasn't to the level of Bruno's kind of thing, but it was still someone underage being targeted by an adult for sexual reasons. And then the other thing which you mentioned before, there's a situation with someone called Happy Feets. Now, Happy Feet, there's going to be a lot of alleged in this one.
Okay.
So Happy Feets is a guy who used to be a Sea of Thieves partner, and for years people were like, I got into SOT streaming. I've never really been a stream watcher, like, other than my personal friends. So like, I never watched any of the. He was considered one of the bigger guys. Like, there's a few bigger SOT streamers who they'll have 4 digits on a good day instead of 3, and it's just like, oh wow, like, they're the big boys. Which is, they've got tenure, they've been there long enough. It makes sense. And there was always people coming in and they're like, oh, Happy Feet, he's a pedophile. I was like, is he? What? And then like people are like, oh, Happy Feet, he cheated on his wife with a 16-year-old. I was like, wow, that's crazy. If you say so, though, I don't know anything about that.
Sure.
And so that was always just it almost became a meme, which was crazy. Like, just any SOT stream, you'd see people talking about it. And then one day, he decided to talk about it on stream, and he did this like 3-hour-long stream where he said, look, I'm not going to ban anyone who wants to discuss this, but we're gonna talk about it. Okay. And he went through it, and he basically said that he never slept with an underage person. He never cheated on his wife. Okay. And he tried to show all these receipts and stuff. And like, a lot of people were like, oh, wow. So it is just people like slandering you. And then like within 12 hours after that stream, his ex-wife posts a Google document. She's like, I'm sick of getting messages about this. Here's this. And he then streams again, and basically it's the reverse of the previous stream. He goes, okay, here's some documents from our like divorce proceedings and our court cases. And in those documents, it alleges that he slept with a 16-year-old, that he also forced himself on his wife, including anally, which was like, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And that it was essentially grooming because he knew that girl from like, I think like 14 onwards. And what he said in his stream, even though he showed that on his stream, what he said was, I was 22 at the time, she was 16, it was legal in our country. And in our state or whatever. And everyone's just, and weirdly, people were like, oh yeah, that's all good. I even saw one of his mods say, oh, we'll ask your grandparents how old they were when they got together. It's like, bro, that's 50 years ago. That's not an excuse. Like, what do you mean? And the craziest thing about that, so all that alleged happens, and he shows that, and he says, whatever. And then, couple weeks pass, he starts banning people again for discussing it, even though he said he wouldn't. Okay. And he is still Sea of Thieves partner. And then 2 years pass, so now it's 2025, the end of 2025, and he steps down from Sea of Thieves partner because he doesn't stream the game anymore. And that damaged so much trust. Not him leaving, but the 2 years of SOT or Rare not doing anything about it. That damaged so much trust because people are like, you are platforming this alleged pedophile. Like, what are you doing? Why haven't you removed him? Slash right, yes, and that's the thing. People never even focus on that part. It's like, okay, ignore the child part. His wife also said that she would be woken up in tears, like being like
raped,
fucking sodomized, like and raped. Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? And the entire time, Rare didn't do anything about it. Like, as harsh as it is, they should have removed his partnership based on the allegations until some kind of investigation happened. I know it's like, oh, well, it is all alleged, but it's like, yeah, but do you want that PR? Do you want people saying, hey, this person who did this is propped up to the level that they're partners? So when they stream, if there's unique partner-only drops, that person has them. Like, it's crazy. And the fact that nothing ever came of it, and then he just left the partnership program because he got bored. Like, so many people, like, you'll still see people to this day who go, yeah, I used to play SOP, but after the Happy Feets thing, I can't. Sure. It's crazy. And I think he still streams to this day, and, you know, he never got in trouble, I guess. And it's just left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. And it's a very, like, the fact you'd already heard his name, I mean, yeah, you would have seen people who still have been like, oh, God, the Happy situation. Like,
would it be fair to assume the community management is like just like either incompetent or just they don't give a shit? Like, it just seems like both.
I personally would say they're definitely incompetent.
Okay.
Like, I've done a little bit, because before I did stream, I used to do quality assurance for contact centers. So like calls, emails, web chat, live chat, responding to reviews and stuff, helping people so I would help the people who communicate with the customers and make sure they were doing it correctly, you know, give them better wording and stuff like that. And one of them was for a pretty major hardware company here in Australia. And part of it was, the I guess, because obviously it's not a video game, but like the community management aspect, which was the Facebook, the Instagram, and then just like, it's called Bazaar Voice, which is a platform for like all different review websites and stuff. And, you know, under their Instagram posts that they'd make, they'd be like, oh, come in and get this new funny little, you know, bluey themed hammer and tongs and stuff. And basically, you know, if someone was under the comments being abusive, you'd kick them. You know, you'd be like, oh, they're like, you know, they're talking about how they were abused in a store, just, you know, silence them, or, you know, respond to them if it's a review saying I had a bad time. And so I learned a lot about how you communicate between a community and an entity that's a business. And it's just like, oh yeah, like there's easy parts to it. Never at any point did the entities have a personality behind them, though, that was like unique to whoever was doing it. And that's a big problem that, like, with all of this, everyone said they need to take the community management roles, especially the Discord mod roles, and turn them into generic usernames. They need to not have a personality, because Jotaro becoming friends with Bruno wouldn't have happened if we didn't know she was that account. If it was just, community mod number one, I don't think it would have led to that type of weird cliquey relationship that then unfortunately platformed someone who was then given, you know, a role of trust where a child might see that and go, oh, I can trust this guy. And then unfortunately it's the actual worst situation you could be in.
I am still surprised that the victims came, or at least one victim came forward, because it's already hard enough coming out about that kind of stuff, but also to see someone who is being platformed and supported by an official medium or entity is it's honestly quite impressive.
It was, so in the end, we had two underage victims come forward. There was the one from the interview, and then there was, I don't know if you would have seen it, because I don't think it was put in the document. Oh, I think it got put in one of the documents later. There is a pretty gross role-playing session where he talks about playing with blood and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that's with a different underage victim.
I see.
And it is foul. If you, on that YouTube short I did, there's a part where I flick up an image that talks about pissing on their own face and taking a photo. That is from that session. That is with a different victim. And then obviously there was the first kid from the pig incident, which, I mean, we don't know if it went further than that. The kid himself has made statements saying, like, he's like, yeah, you know, I was young, I was clouded by this, but you know, I haven't been hurt in any way. So I don't know if it was further than just a few sexual jokes, which still was bad enough. Yeah. And then we've also had another person who is an adult, so, like, you know, if anything, it was just him being creepy, but they are also trans, so it is sticking with the trend of him just like doing that. It's someone who was there's an event called Sotfest, which happens every year. It's an unofficial event, but a lot of the devs go, and that's where Bruno has met a lot of these people, and that's how he kind of got a name in the community. And there's like a uncomfortable text where he's just trying to or they don't show the text, but they talk about it, where he's asking what hotel they're staying at and stuff, and he's trying to hook up with them, and it's just like, yeah, he's just trying to hook up with as many trans people of any age possible and use his influence as like a trusted member of the community to do so, and it's just never ending. So two confirmed underage
it's not
victims,
just online, it's also like in person.
Yes.
Okay.
And something that really concerned us, thinking back to the pig incident, was that kid, the kid from the pig incident, Vi Pua, he went to Sotfest, and so did Bruno in 2024.
Okay.
And I think 2025. And it's just like, obviously they would have met because they were like very close friends. But it's like, oh God, like I hope he was okay. Like I hope, I really hope there was like some kind of supervision. I hope the entire time that kid had like family with him and stuff.
Sure.
It's like whenever Sotfest happens, because it happens July every year, you can see in the hashtag pictures of like all the cosplay and stuff, and like there's ones of him where he's up on stage in his cosplay, and you're like, I really hope like he had his parents with him or something, because his most trusted adult there would have been Bruno, who just is evil. So yeah, but thankfully the people who run Sotfest have refunded. I don't know if they refunded, but they've revoked Bruno's ticket this year, and they've banned him permanently from it, which is good. Thank God. Thank God, because that's in a month. But yeah, like just...
Where's Sotfest held? Is it in England or...
Yeah, it's in the UK. I forget exactly where it is, but it's in the UK, because Rare is a UK-based company. Yeah. It's a very EU-UK kind of thing. And yeah, it's just a meeting of the community, and there's like artists and people who make like physical replicas of the in-game weapons and objects and treasure chests, and
that's cool.
They just do like cosplay competition and stuff, and a lot of the devs go, and they all meet up, and that unfortunately also is an easy way to correlate the weird blue hat dev clickiness. Like you see pictures of Jotaro with, here's 4 people that she's done a community spotlight on. That's interesting. But it's not just like, they were like, let's get a photo. It's like, here's 20 photos of them, and here's a photo of them, they've gone out for drinks. And then you look in the official Discord and you see one of the other persons saying like, we had such fun drinking last night when we went out to the pub after Sotfest with you guys. And it's like, which, they're allowed to, and like that's, that'd be crazy. It's like, here's a developer of my favorite game, let's go get a drink. But it's just like, but that's it. It should just be drinks with someone who's like, you made the game. It's like, no, these are now friends, and they're staying friends, and it's just, it's very blatant.
All right, so let's talk about the Fallout now. And this is where I'm a bit more familiar, because I was just watching. I think multiple outlets reported on this, including Kotaku. And the Fallout was, okay, so these documents were revealed. You covered them. And people were disseminating them through Twitter, through Discords, through other social media. And then Sea of Thieves partners started stepping down, which I think was part of why some of the publications I'm familiar with and have talked to as well, they caught the news because of that. Do you know how many stepped down and how many there were before they stepped down? Like out of the total of...
So with Sea of Thieves partners... Before this happened, there was about, because it includes, so with Sea of Thieves partners specifically, there's 2 different criterias. There's English speaking and non-English speaking, and non-English speaking partners have a much lower threshold to reach partnership.
Sure.
So earlier this year, there was about 200-ish partners
total. Okay.
And a lot. Total. A lot. I know prior to this, a lot of them they changed a few of the criteria. So quite a few people were stood down as partners because of no longer meeting criteria and stuff. So at the time, I'm not sure how many English-speaking ones there were. There would have been at least 50, and around 10 stepped down, because I believe it 10. Was. So Nessie, my friend, Totally Flux. Who was it? I just had them in my head and I forgot them. There was Hitbo TC, which he was one of the bigger ones. He was the one that got all the... Because he was, like I said before, there's people who had like the bigger guys who have been around for a long time. He was one of the bigger ones that stepped down. That's what got most of the attention. Hitbo or Hitbo TC. I'm forgetting it now. There was about... There was 6... There was 6 within the first 48 hours of like it really hitting the news. And there was quite a few that threatened to step down if nothing happens, which... Nothing has happened, and they still haven't stepped down. But
we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, so I'd say I think 8 in total just straight up stood down and said, I'm out. And yeah.
Yeah, so they stepped down, and then I think one of them even said, hey, remove my brand, my name, remove my hat as well. I don't know who that was.
So there was...
I forget who it was, rather.
So there was one, which was really interesting, because it's now the most viewed tweet to do with Sea of Thieves of all time, which I don't even know how it broke through that level. There is an artist from Brazil called Ozurian, and he did a tweet asking to have all of his stuff removed that he's won, because I think he's kind of won everything. In fact, he's... One second. he such a good artist. He made a magnet. Oh, sorry, I made the magnet, but it's art that he drew of my pirate, and I've got it. I was like, can I put this in the merch store to sell, like for like no profit, but just so people can have? He's like, yeah. So this is art he made of my pirate. Beautiful.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he makes art, and it's really amazing. And yeah, he basically said, yeah, I want to have my blue hat removed. I want to have all these titles removed, because when you win Be More Pirate more than once, you get like in-game titles and stuff. And they do the SOT shot thing, where it's basically they'll do a theme and they'll say, take a photo in this theme, and then you win an award, which gets you a sales in game. Custom ones, and then every time you win you get a better version of the title until you get, I think it's 10 wins gets you the title Visionary Artist of the Sea of Thieves. And he asked for that to be removed, and that tweet for some reason within like a day got to like 2 million views, and unfortunately it had a lot of people replying saying like, you don't need to announce this, little bro, because they were just not tapped into the situation.
Sure.
He was okay. I spoke to him. He was okay. He's like, no, I know it's just, it broke through to normal Twitter, so you're going to get a lot of like idiots. He just muted it. He was like, whatever.
So he wasn't a YouTuber or streamer.
No, he's just an artist. Yeah. Yeah,
that's crazy. I thought he was. Okay. Then one of the news articles got it wrong, because one of them mentioned a creator.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of really easy to clarify misinformation. Like there was there's articles calling Bruno a moderator. There was articles calling him a SOT part. He's not even. That's the thing. He's never even. No one even knows what he sounds like, other than the people who met him. Like he doesn't make videos. He doesn't.
Right.
He just posts really, really lame screenshots with his friends, and then makes weird grooming jokes.
Right. So Sea of Thieves partners, some of them stepped down. Not all of them.
Not all. No, not all.
And I know there was a lot of friction, actually, from what I've seen, between people who stayed and people who didn't. Kind of like arguing about, let's see what happens, or I guess like, why are you being performative, or blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And I feel like that noise really eliminated the actual issue at hand. Like people talk more about what to do rather than what happened. And that's where I was like, that's when I actually entered this discussion as an observer. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? So I had to dig a little bit, and then I found your post and all that.
That's where there was a lot of back and forth between just everyone spreading their opinion on that.
Yeah, and I contacted the game journalist source or friend of mine, and he caught me up to speed. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, it's been very interesting to just kind of see that fall out. And then you had the Rare reaction, which I think you also covered, I think.
Yeah, I covered that. Was in one of the Fallout streams. Yeah.
So their announcement was basically like, hey, we're gonna investigate, and that's basically it. And I was like, okay, that's not a bad response, but at the same time, I was curious. I was like, were they given a heads up about this individual at all at any point before? Did they act on the warnings, or are they just doing this? And then I found out that they knew, or at least one of them knew, assumingly. Yeah, so there's... And then that announcement...
Thanks to some... there's some insider info. I had more info than I was allowed to share at the time.
Sure.
Well, I guess first of all, with the whole friction there, there was the whole performative discussion regarding stepping down versus people saying, well,
not
I'd rather
streaming,
keep myself partnered. There were people that I'd rather stay partnered so I can like do this. Like me personally, I was like, look, if it was me in the shoes, I would step down as partner and then reapply if things get better, because you don't really get that much like benefits as a partner anyway, all things considered. Like it's really like I have so many friends that are partners, and it's like I've never seen them even get retweeted when they did their partner announcement. Like it's just kind of, but I understand people who didn't want to step down. It's whatever. I think it would have been better for a lot more to step down, or at least threaten to step down. But At the end of the day, I don't think it would have. Look, the people who did it got enough attention to it that it went to where it needed to go. Like, more wouldn't have made it that much worse. Regarding, so there was before the SOT website had a statement on it. There was the head, the manager of the community management team, Christine. She made a post in the Discord basically saying, "Hey, everything's being looked into. We can't talk about it. We will do what we can," which a lot of people had a problem with, but it's kind of two sides of a coin where it's like, I understand that that's not enough information to give, but at the same time, the severity of things, they're probably not going to, like, everything would need to be approved wording if they're going to say a single thing about it, because it's too risky for PR. And then I immediately received information from a partner saying, so they have confirmed in the partner Discord that Microsoft's legal team is handling it, so they literally cannot say a thing. Okay. And I was like, yeah, which thankfully was very obvious to anyone who could really put it together. It's like, yeah, obviously that's what's going to happen. Like, there's a reason.
So Microsoft is now aware of it because they're the owners.
Yes.
Are you aware if the investigation is still ongoing or if it's just kind of kaput?
So at this point, I'm not too sure. They basically, so it took them, I think, either a week or two, I think it was a week and a half, to put a statement on the website. And the website just talks about how they're all about protecting not only their players, but their employees and stuff. Which unfortunately, someone in my Twitch pointed out was almost word for word a copy paste of a statement from like 4 years ago when something else happened. And I was like, like the entire final paragraph is literally just copy paste. So they said they do that. They also said we're removing, effective immediately, we're removing the boatswain role from the game. They even removed the in-game, because you actually do get an in-game title as well. That's just been deleted from the files. And they said that was more to protect the existing boatswains, which is like, those people didn't really do anything wrong. It was just the one guy, as far as we know. But the disappointment about that was like, okay, but like, what are you doing about the person within your company that has enabled this? And so what they said is there will be further changes down the line that won't be immediately visible and they're not going to be announced, which I do, as someone who's worked like professionally within offices and things like that. It's like, I understand that. They're not going to say, hey, we fired X, Y, and Z. So that happened. That was their statement. And that, since then, nothing has been said by Rare. And I don't think anything else will, which they kind of worded it that way as if they don't need to say anything else.
Is the senior community manager Jotaro still a community manager?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean,
so that's
what is that?
So that's what it is. So the people that have been running everything under a magnifying glass noticed that it took her 8 days before she was back on her Blue Sky posting, not making personal posts, just doing reposts. So she hasn't typed anything at all. And now that we're a month in, she hasn't appeared online on Discord, because she would appear at the top of the SOT Discord if she did. She hasn't appeared online on Discord at that point. She has been on Discord though. We know this because she has she deleted Nessie as a friend, which was such a strange bit to do, because like and
you unfriended somebody who helped expose a pedophile in the community.
Because his literal tweet said like, I hereby am stepping down from partner as this situation is fucked. You need to do something. You need to fire Jotaro. You need to do better.
Okay. That's what.
Better. But also, she doesn't use Twitter anymore. She stepped away from Twitter, privated it, and moved to Blue Sky 3 years ago. So pretty funny. She saw that, and then she decided to delete him as a friend on Discord, because obviously when he was partnered, he would have to communicate with her. So she's been invisible. The usual things on the Discord that would be posted by her, like updates and news and stuff like that, has been posted by a different community manager this entire time.
Makes sense.
So my theory initially was, and I was saying, because people on stream every day, like, has she been fired? Has she been fired? I'm like, hang on, it takes time. I was like, look, in my professional like career that I had, these things take at least 2 weeks for an internal investigation, at least, where they go, okay, we're going to place this person on administrative leave. We're going to look at we're going to do all the statement gathering. We're going to gather all the facts. We're going to discuss it with them, and then we're going to make a decision. But I was like, look, I can't imagine a situation where the level of PR disaster she's caused would allow her to retain her role. It's just like she can't ever talk again in the Discord. If she does, people are gonna be like, oh, hey, it's you. Like, obviously, some people have been unnecessarily harsh about her, which, you know, it's the nature of the internet, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, it's just like, no, I don't think that level of enabling someone and putting them in this position of trust that led to this, I don't think someone who did that should be allowed to work within this capacity anymore. It's just, that's just how it is, unfortunately. Like, any other company would go, all right, you're just a PR nightmare, we're going to get rid of you. I know she is an OG, like she's worked there forever, so I understand there's obviously a few like concessions, I guess, they'd make regarding that, but it's just like at the same time, it's just, there's no situation where she can exist within this game and like this community without it just being responded to with disgust. And the other thing that they did was the mods in the Discord, which we also did say a lot of those mods need to be removed, just because there's always been this thing, which you would have seen in the longer video that I discussed, where they just kind of interrupt things, any kind of criticism of the game, instead of letting people in the SOT Discord, especially new players who go like, yeah, I don't understand why this doesn't work. And someone will try to be like, oh, well, unfortunately, this is kind of a problem with the game. And then the mods will come in and they'll just start greeting each other to interrupt the conversation. And also they're just, like that one I mentioned before, Shira, a lot of them just don't understand the game and they say things wrong. And it's just like, the whole mod team needs to be reworked, and most of the community management team. And so, yeah, they said, you know, then the head of the community management, Christine, she put a statement out. She said, so you'll be able to discuss the things in the Discord. Obviously, keep it within appropriate like levels, because this is a game that children play. We don't want to see this, you know, inflammatory, explosive language, which I was like, that's fair. You know, you don't want to join a Discord for a game you play and see everyone go, this game enables pedophiles. As much as unfortunately that is kind of a narrative that is happening.
What happened?
Yeah, it's just like that
technically.
That is, but yeah, but it's just like on a professional level, I can understand.
Sure,
why you wouldn't want that to
but
be,
like,
you know, you don't want to walk into the flaming room. But then the problem arose, which went from people going, okay, we'll be appropriate. We'll be like, unfortunately, some bad things have happened and some people have enabled people, please be careful, to you can't discuss anything. If you even try to
Are they censoring people right now?
Yep. They're deleting. So for about a week, they weren't. They did the thing where they left the Discord in 6-hour slow mode, which was just bizarre. But now it's back to its usual like 5-minute slow mode that it's always at. And like, because there's a lot of people in my Discord that there's a Discord extension called like Vencord, and it lets you, when a message is deleted, it keeps it there in red text. And so I had to make a channel in my Discord called SOT Drama, because so many people were joining it. And I was like, yeah, keep this out of general, just all pile into here till this blows over, so I can then just delete that channel, because it's scary in there. And there's people in there posting screenshots where it's like, look at all these deleted messages. And it's now at the point where, what's his name? I think his name's Jugs on Twitter. He has made a like API scraping thing for the SOT Discord that basically tracks every deleted message, and it gives you graphs of like how many messages were deleted in the last hour, day, week, month. It's crazy.
People are not willing to let this go though, despite the official censorship.
Yeah, the good news is people are sticking to it, but the bad news is they're all getting banned from the official Discord. Like, I'm afraid to even just speak in there now in case they go, oh, you know what, and just snipe me out of it. But at the same time, I don't want to speak in there. But yeah, so right now it's back to 1984 mode where you can't discuss it, and it's just they're trying to pretend nothing happened. That's basically what it looks like.
It seems like Jotaro, this community manager, she was told by legal to not do or say anything publicly.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. She was told like.
It also doesn't seem like there's gonna be anything that happens actually based on the actions following the fallout here. I mean, if you're censoring,
it's been 4 weeks and nothing. So
right, if you're censoring everybody, I mean, what does that even say? You know,
it's just.
I think it just says, "Hey, we just want to sweep this under the rug, pretend it didn't happen." And
the worst thing is, it was exactly what most people predicted. They go, "Oh, give it 3 weeks, and then it'll be back to don't talk about it, pretend nothing happened," and it exactly followed that. Like,
I think there was a lot of still more friction. I think a few weeks ago where people were pointing out that people who said they're not going to stream during drops or whatever streamed. So, like, how do you feel about that? Like, people who just said, you know what, I have my principles. I'm not gonna stream this game or whatever. I'm gonna, but then they go back right to it. I understand like I kind of understand the human greed element there, but like that was a bit disappointing to see for sure as an outside observer.
Me personally, because people are like, are you still going to stream the game? And I said, yes, I'm still going to stream the game because for me and for this situation, the best thing is for me to be available as much as possible to talk about it.
Yeah.
And which it's still crazy to me. A lot of the time when I do stream, because I stream in Australian hours, I will be at the top of the category. And that's not to congratulate myself, but that's to look at how bad the state of SOT on Twitch has gotten, like that no one wants to watch it anymore.
Sure.
Like obviously I have they want to watch it, but like it used to be the top row of Sea of Thieves at any time on Twitch was like, 1,000, 900, 800, 500, 500, 500. And now it's like me on 120, and then it's like 80, 70, 30, 30, 30. Like the average viewership, and you can see there's graphs for this. It's just like way less people are watching it. And so I said, I was like, look, it's more important. I find it more helpful to keep doing what I do on the stream. I'm not going to stop streaming the game because of it. I'm not going to support the game. I'm not spending money in the ancient, like in the Emporium, the premium shop and stuff like that, buying the ancient coins. But I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to discuss it critically. And, anyone who asks about it, I'll just give them a rundown. But yeah, there were people who did say, I'm never touching this game until things are better. And then they did come back as soon as Twitch drops are on. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, I just think everyone should stick to their guns with things. It's like, if you say you're going to do it, do it. And that's why I didn't say I was going to stop playing. Because it's like, I would then, if I did then come back to the game, I'd feel, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough, call me out. But I'm not, just.
I have a lot of personal opinions about the people who stay in but we'll say that for later at the end. But going back to the whole Fallout reaction from Rare, do you think part of the reason why they're not like eager to have it discussed or discuss it even is the fact that the Bruno matter is unfortunately tied in with Pride Month? Like, I feel like the unfortunate prevailing discussion right now, at least online, is like, gay people are groomers or whatever. Trans people are predators. I feel like there's that sort of weird thing here where they don't want to draw too much attention to it because then people will think. I mean, there's a whole image of Bruno and his friend in front of a pride flag, and then they're outed as, Bruno is outed as a child predator, preying on trans youth. So it's like it's pretty bad optics for
it's the worst possible.
Everything.
I mean, it's like I said before. There's been so much discourse in my comments and stuff where people are like, "Oh, typical person with 1,000."
Sure.
It's like you gotta think externally. It's not, you can't just generalize for this. I don't know if that would be affecting their because this happened last month and now we're in June because of a lack of response. It's like maybe
you mentioned how very good they are at representation and all that, so maybe that could be part of why they don't want to touch this further.
I mean, it could be. I mean, look, Jotaro herself is LGBT. A lot of the community managers are. They've got a few partners that are like trans and stuff like that. So they are, they're huge on that. But like, I don't know if that's stopping them as much as it is just, I still, in my heart, think it's something to do with Microsoft just saying,
the Microsoft,
like, I think it's knowing that immediately there was a response sent to the partners saying, hey, Microsoft legal team's handling this, just, we can't say nothing. Makes me think it's being handled on such a serious level that maybe that's what's happening, and maybe it might take longer than the normal 2 weeks. But at the same time, it's now been 4 weeks and we've got nothing. And
I feel like the whole censorship aspect, though, kind of messes up.
Yeah, the censorship, like
serious legal stuff, you know what I mean?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like I said, people predicted that it will go back to being just, you can't talk about anything.
But that's bad customer service.
It is, it's terrible.
So it's like, I don't know if Microsoft would want to see that at the same, or maybe they're not even aware of it at this point.
Well, that's a big thing I've been saying about this when people go like, oh, what do you think their opinion is? It's like, I don't think people above community management even see this stuff. Like, they wouldn't know that the Discord is in a permanent lockdown, and that even if you try to talk there normally, but it's slightly critical, you get shut down as it's been for years. Because it's like, I don't think, they do occasionally they'll do like a podcast thing and they'll talk about customer sentiment within Sea of Thieves. and Christine, the head of the community manager, she'll bring out a laptop and she'll be like, oh, people rated this a 5 out of 5. People, so they see those numbers, they go, oh, okay, everything's good within the community. So like,
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of people within upper ends of Rare that saw this and were like, what the hell is going on? And then the fact that we can go, hey, remember last year when everyone talked about this, but you guys ignored it? Oh. So like, hopefully, like with the hindsight of that, maybe that's going to have some kind of effect. But yeah, at this point, it's just all censored and we just don't even know.
Sure.
Like, because like
what
she
was-
could be fired, but
Right.
maybe she's just still got her Discord roles for some reason. But that's her personal Discord, so like maybe they should.
What was
know.
interesting though after the announcement was I believe there was a sudden influx of new Sea of Thieves partners, right? So
Yes.
I wonder if that was to replace the bigger, so to speak, fish stepping down, or to just make it look like, hey, it's okay, things are going okay. We got with new partners.
I think, look, I think that might be a bit of both, because what happened was, so Sea of Thieves partners previously, before 2 months ago, they had a certain threshold they had to meet of if they were a YouTuber, a certain amount of views a month, and a certain amount of videos a month on SOT. And if they were a streamer, it was a certain amount of hours of SOT streamed a month and a certain amount of hours watched per month, which I think it was like 15. I think for Twitch it was 15,000 hours watched of Sea of Thieves content on your Twitch, and at least 10 hours streamed a month. They halved those for Sea of Thieves partners.
Okay.
Existing Sea of Thieves partners got made into what's called partner legends,
Okay.
So when you're a Sea of Thieves partner, the rewards that you get are access to custom servers. You get 8,000 ancient coins a month, which is the premium currency. So it's about $50 worth of in-game premium currency a month. And every like second or third Twitch drop is partner exclusive. So only partners can be watched during that time. So those benefits have now moved to everyone in Partner Legend. And what was partner, they had a stream team, which is just people who they decided were good enough to be almost SOT partners, but didn't quite meet the mark of like numbers and stuff. It was to help boost them. Those people, essentially, their requirements, which are like next to nothing, like it's like 100 hours watched a month and stuff on Twitch, which, it's a big deal for a lot of people to get to that much. But for Sea of Thieves partner, it's like, no, that's like a fraction. So now their requirements are what gets you partner, and you get, you don't get custom servers. You might get drops, and you get like a couple, I think you get like 1,000 ancient coins a month.
Okay.
So a lot of people got put into what used to be called Stream Team, which is now Partner, and all the partners got moved into Partner Legends. So even though a lot of new partners were created, they're not what you would consider partner like 6 months ago.
So they made a lower tier. I see.
Yeah, it's a lower tier, but they've reworded the naming of things, so it's led to a lot of confusion. Because like I had people going, "How did this person get partner? They don't even get like 10 viewers a stream," and I'm like, because they've changed it.
Right.
And I'm not disparaging people who would get 10 viewers a stream. That's even getting double digits is insane.
Yeah.
But like they were just concerned, like, I don't get it because don't you need this certain threshold? It's like, no, they've changed it. Yeah, the timing. So the timing of them doing that change was about 2 months ago. But then I guess allowing them all in the month after, which was then last month, I guess it might have to do with trying to be like, oh no, we've got partners. Look at all these people.
I think it is.
The other thing is, The other thing is that I will say that I mentioned before is when you get partner, they don't care about you. Like because there's a few artists that will be like, oh, when someone gets partner, before you announce it, let me get a screenshot and I'll decorate it, and then you can make that your I got partner post. The Sea of Thieves Twitter doesn't retweet that, and I always found that crazy. It's like, at the very least, acknowledge them.
Sure.
Like, the only partners that Sea of Thieves really acknowledges ongoing are the same ones that play with Jotaro. the same ones that play with Rare employees. Yeah, there's a few of them, and it's just like, It's the same thing. It's the friendship thing.
Yeah, I mean, even if you exclude the hideous matter with Bruno, I feel like the trespassing of the boundaries of professionalism and all that kind of should have contributed to something, I don't know, happening.
No,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it always just ties back to specific things where it's like, I wish it wasn't so. I wish the clues weren't all just right there. You know, there's no, you don't even need to investigate. It's like, yep, and that ties back to Jodo. That ties back to this person. Like, it's just.
Speaking of social media, you know, people aren't letting go of this still, and I think I saw something about AI art being used for controller or something. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I do. So with Sotfest, like I said earlier, it's all about the artists. People make custom like replicas of the guns in game, the treasure chest, things like that, the hats, and so it's all about the artists. And it's to be fair, like I said, it's not an official event, even though it is kind of endorsed by them. Like 2 years ago, a bunch of Rare devs went and they did a soccer match for charity and stuff like that. So like it's as close to an official event as you can be, except it's funded by the fans instead of by the official guys. And so this year for Sotfest, they wanted to have a special edition controller custom made with the Sotfest logo on it, so people could, because it goes to charity. Like every year for Sotfest, even if you don't attend, they do a charity, and you can win some like codes for super rare in-game items from years ago, art books and stuff. Like last year, I won the art book from it, and I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. I did want a specific code for like the one gun I don't have in game, but I was like, that's okay. At least I won something. And it went to charity. And so they commissioned a controller through this website, and it's just the most blatant AI slop design we've ever seen. Like, it's just like, because I remember the first time I saw it, I looked at it on like a smaller monitor on my phone. I was like, it doesn't look great, but it's whatever. And then someone in the chat's like, no, dude, bring it up on your main screen. I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah. Like, because it's got like one half of it's supposed to be like a wood texture, because obviously like in SOT, you've got your pirate ship and you're repping the planks. And then you've got these Kraken tentacles, because it's a Kraken. And you take a close look at the tentacles and you notice some weird inconsistencies. Like, even though it's got like tentacles on the bottom half, it's got suction cups on the bottom half. So on certain parts, it goes around to the side and the top. And you're like, that doesn't really make sense, but okay. And then there's bits where it's fused together. And then you get those typical AI artifacts where it's like certain repeated textures and layering. And so we kicked up a stink, as we like to do. And was like, hey, this is just blatant AI, which is, it's whatever, but this is an event about the artist. What are you doing? And thankfully, one of the head organizers of Saltfest actually came to my Discord, and he was really chill, which I was like surprised about. And he's just like, dude, they have given us a statement. They said it's not AI, and I was like, okay, but it is. It just is, bro. And then like hours later, he's like, this was my fault. I take full ownership of this. We're working with the website to get something better. And I was like, told ya. And one of the really bad parts is, so there's a Sotfest logo, which is like, it's like the two tankards and like the banner, and it says like Sotfest, and then on one tankard it'll say 20, the other one it says 26. That's made by an artist called Midi, and she designed that years ago, and they put that on there. And so she was really unhappy, because it's like, obviously she's happy for them to use their logo, but not in association with AI, because then people are going to think she uses AI. And everyone says like, why didn't you just ask an artist to design it? Because all it is, it's just a vinyl wrap for a controller. Like it comes with the controller, but it's just like it's cheap.
So it was Rare that made that design.
No. Rare have no involvement. Sorry.
Oh, okay, right.
Saltfest,
it was somebody drew Saltfest.
Yes.
Okay.
It was someone through Saltfest. So to be fair, you can't blame Rare for any of this. Like,
yeah, of course, it's a fan thing.
You know, that's the first thing you can't blame for. And Midi themselves, she has now been commissioned to design a proper one, and it looks a lot better. It's way nicer. The logo's on the back instead of the front, where it would kind of be in the way. It is still, in my opinion, too expensive for a third-party controller, but it's for charity. But yeah, so that all got solved, and the guy who organized it, that came to my Discord, he was really cool about it, which I didn't expect, because Softfest used to not like me for...
I mean, it doesn't sound like anyone likes you.
until
they meet you. Until they meet you, right?
Yeah, no, which guess what? They've now finally unblocked me on Twitter and unbanned me from their Twitch when they've realized I didn't do anything. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, another victory. It just took 3 years. But yeah, no, so that's all solved. But yeah, that didn't technically have anything to do with SOT at large. That was more of a community thing. And we're all happy with the outcome, because it's like, cool, everyone's happy now.
So to wrap this all up, what do you want to see from Rare, apart from the firing of Jotaro?
So
or the
I want to see,
shuffling of mods, rather.
yeah. So I want to see, the necessary firing of Jotaro. Not with, it doesn't need an announcement. I just want to see her disappear from the SOT Discord,
Okay.
disappear from, remove all their roles. Just, I don't want to see her around, and they don't need to say we got rid of her. They just need to say nothing. They just need her
Sure.
gone. And then, yes, a rejigging of the moderation of the SOT Discord, because it's just bad. It's been bad. And I've been talking about this for years on stream when people go like, oh, I went in the SOT Discord and they're really stupid. And I say to my chat, I go, do not communicate in the SOT Discord. Go there to get the news for game updates and stuff. Don't talk in there. You will never have an intelligent conversation in there. Even if you go in there pure of heart and you say, hey, I had this weird glitch where this happened. Has anyone experienced this? You will be treated like you are evil. They just don't want discussion. So I want that to be, I want discussion to be possible in there. I want them to allow slight criticisms or, critique where you can say, hey, I kind of think this is bad. But there's this whole thing about the community, about the devs and the community managers and not listening, which they even acknowledged recently, but they still haven't done anything about that. I want that. And then I just, that's the main thing I want, because that's the main problem, because everything else is more to do with problems with the in-game stuff, which that's on the dev side, which that has nothing to do with this. I just want the whole the clicky stuff to not be able to exist anymore, because it's just it's provably caused harm. There should not be friendships formed between any any entity representative and a player beyond just haha, a meme reference, and that's it. I don't want to see personal relationships form from stuff like that.
Okay.
And then just go on the SOT Twitter and unblock everyone you blocked. It was why did you just do that? Let people talk about the game to you directly. Don't block people for no reason. They're just what I would like. I would like for them to just do their job the way every other game community management team does, where they almost every, don't get me wrong, there's bad ones.
Yeah.
Just exist, exist. And when you moderate, it should be to get rid of things that shouldn't be posted, not to just interrupt conversation, just delete hate speech, delete fake links to, hacks on Discord. Just let people just talk about the game. And if they're not 100% positive, that's okay. That's how the game grows. And that's what I say with the whole SOT rant thing. Because a lot of people go, oh, you sound like you hate the game. Why don't you just quit? It's like, me doing this, in my opinion, is more important than me quitting the game, because at least now I'm getting word out. I get people saying, hey man, I agree with your points. I've been playing the game and I do find this. And it's like, yeah, to me, that's meaningful. It's like, yeah, just we need to help the game grow. And the only way it'll grow is if people get their word out, and the more people that do it, it just grows. And that has been happening with whenever they release, because separate to this, I don't know if you know, but the state of the game has been pretty bad for a while now. Every update video that the devs put out, you will see all the comments now being like, what are you guys doing with the game? When a year ago, anyone saying that would be met with hey, what the hell, dude? Just quit the game, bro. But now the common sentiment is the game's in a bad state, which, as sad as that makes me, it's a good thing that at least now it's being noticed, because it's like, yeah, cool. Everyone needs to be talking about this.
Are those problems a result of technical issues or vision / gameplay design issues? Or both?
There's a long answer for that. The short answer for that is technical limitations, spaghetti code, and inexperienced development team trying to decipher code from a previous team.
I see. So there was a transition on the developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't an official transition, more of just over time, people from the start of it have dropped out. And I guess the quickest example I can give you is something new gets added to the game, something randomly breaks completely unrelated to it. They added, an update about a month ago added, what did it even add? It added I can't even remember. It added nothing. It added some cosmetics to the game. And in doing so, a cannonball, because there's these cannonballs called cursed cannonballs that when you fire, instead of putting a hole in the ship, it might put someone to sleep, or it'll make them vomit, or it'll make their cannons go straight up so they can't shoot at you for 10 seconds. A cursed ball from the alpha build of the game somehow snuck into the main build. A cancelled, incomplete beta item that no one had seen since 9 years ago appeared in the game because of an update that added a new outfit. And that happens constantly with everything in the game.
That's interesting.
They add a new pet to the game that you can purchase, and a line of text in some of the achievements relating to something from 5 years ago suddenly is replaced with like HTML. And it's like, what are these two? Yeah, that's a thing.
Sure.
That's the main things that I ran about is instead of the community, because this is crazy. But yeah, technical limitations, inexperience, and deciphering spaghetti code.
Do you think Sea of Thieves is catered to minors or just gamers in general? Like, it does have a cartoonish vibe to it in terms of graphics, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at World of Warcraft, for example. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it caters, in my opinion, it mostly caters to younger teens.
Okay.
The thing is, though, if you go look at the demographics of Sotfest in their hashtag, the median age is like 34. Which, I mean, to be fair, that probably has to do with adults having more money and free time. Yeah. Or not more free time. Well, free time.
Sure.
But the thing that's noticeable when you look through the Sotfest hashtag and you see like a hole full of people, no one brought their kids. There's no if you think of any other game, right, and you think of a convention, you're going to see a mixture of people, from 15 to 20 to 30 to 40.
Sure.
You look at Sotfest and it's people from 30 to 40, and then one guy brought his kid. And it's just interesting that the people who care about the game to that level, I don't know, I just think of any other game or hobby or convention, and there's always a mixture of all ages, and Sea of Thieves seems to have this weirdly, strangely older demographic. Might just be only because it's in the UK over there. But yeah, but the game, the average player that we run into is some teenage squeaker. And that leads to funny content because, we hear them, they'll start slurring at us, and then we'll hear them get told off by their mum, and that makes for a really funny video.
Sure.
But yeah, it's I'd say it's early to mid-teens, and then I mean obviously any game is going to appeal to adults because we'll just play whatever.
About Bruno, I think you mentioned that you reported him to his local police and everything. Do you know what? Anything came out of that, or just?
I think unfortunately it's one of those situations where I don't think they're willing to share anything because it's it's just one of those things with cops. So thankfully, a very trusted source who had physically mailed him some stuff contacted me and was like, hey, so here's his name, here's his mailing address, and here's a phone number and an email. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, do you have any way you can verify that this is real? Because obviously they could just be lying.
Sure.
And then they verified pretty clearly that it was real. I was like, that's amazing. So I sent that to the person who's communicating with Bruno's local police. And then 3 days later, I get an email and someone's like, hey, I have Bruno personal information if you want. I was like, send it. And they sent it, and it had a proper mailing address, not just a PO box. And it had 3 other emails, which I was like, why does he have so many emails? And then it had the exact same phone number. And I was like, okay, now we've got everything. And then we were sent pictures of his personal tattoos, all the pictures you see of him at Sotfest, because he's a very anti-photos person, but candidly, unfortunately, a bunch of them showed up. We sent all that off to his local police. We got the reference number from that for I think they call it a constabulary over there. We got the reference number for that. We sent that to both of the victims through the third party that they spoke to that made the interviews and stuff with them. That's all we know, unfortunately.
So I'm assuming this is UK police, right?
Yeah, so it's Scotland.
So,
it's Scotland.
Yeah. Okay, so they haven't confirmed anything yet. They just confirmed that they received it. They just send you a ticket number or a case number, and that's it. All right, well, hopefully something comes out of it.
Yeah. So the person who organized it, he is also in Scotland, so he's been communicating with me, but so far they haven't been able. It's either they haven't been able to, or they're not willing to currently provide anything. And during all this, Bruno has. So funnily enough, he was banned from Sea of Thieves, which we've never seen someone be banned for this before, right? That's just crazy. Obviously he should be banned from the game, but that was already crazy. It's wow, they banned him for that. He's since then deleted his profile as well on SOT, which is pointless because he's already banned. He was caught back when he first exposed, deleting a bunch of DMs, but that we still were able to catch him with that. He's deleted his Blue Sky, he's deleted his Twitter, he's now deleted his Discord. So he's been deleting everything, which I hope doesn't affect any kind of investigation, because obviously if they were to audit his Discord, they would be able to find, child sexual abuse material, essentially. But my understanding from people is that Discord themselves would be able to recover anything like that, potentially, which I'm pretty happy about, especially if the victims that were folded, the reference number did go forward and say, hey, so here's what the account is and stuff. Like, hopefully they've been communicating and sharing that stuff so they can kind of do that. Because, I mean, that's, to me, would be dead to rights, right? Like, the only concern I have is just knowing, at least over here in Australia, how bad police handle online stuff, where it's like they don't even consider it real because it's digital. So hopefully over there it's treated pretty seriously, and hopefully there's some kind of justice.